the unleavened bread and the Omer and the barley harvest. Okay, so what I'll do is I will start on the Omer, okay, because it is the first day of the Omer today, okay, and why we count it. So I'm going to share that with you.
I have done it before, studying in Psalms 119 and going through that. But yeah, I ended up, you know, after 22, I sort of, after Tav, I sort of lost it. That was one, yeah. So I'm not, not, I'm still learning all the feasts and everything, because so I didn't even know about them until 2017, so I'm pretty green.
Janie's just come on, so maybe I'll just put some music on because there could be Wendy's going to try to come. A few of them would like to come. Sometimes their internet's not right. They're in the country areas. That's why I need to record it so that they can watch it too. In Australia, there's quite a few people scattered, and they're in the country, and the Wi-Fi goes. It's not real good apparently. So don't say as much. Okay. I'll
Yeah, is it possible to hide away the things I feel inside? It may be time that I confide in you and tell you what is true. The truth is that I am afraid to free the woman I was made to be, the person who is somewhere deep inside let this breath rise through the air as incense before you. Please let this breath rise through the air. I give my heart to you. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven. Remove the leaven. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven. Make me new again. You are the Lamb. I lift my hands, a song of praise to you. You are the Lamb. I lift my hands, a sacrifice for you. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven. Remove the leaven. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven from my heart. Remove the leaven. Make me new again. When you see the blood, when you see the blood, when you see the blood pass over me, when you see the blood, when you see the blood, when you see the blood pass over me. Please let this prayer rise through the air as incense before you. As incense before you.
I've just got to get that down somehow. Zoom, please. Right. Okay. Somebody like to, I think everybody's here now. Janie's here. Let's see, that's good. Heather's over here. She's here, and Tamika's over there too. So that's okay. Who would like to open in prayer? Please. Hand up. Someone. Okay, Bridie, I'm going to ask you, would you mind opening up in prayer today, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, we just come before your throne, Yahushua HaMashiach's precious name. Yahuwah, I thank you for this day of your Shabbat, but also as we're keeping the feast of Matzah, Yahuwah, I thank you for this day. Yeah, I pray that we have ears to hear and eyes to see what the Ruach HaKodesh is saying, Yahuwah. I pray that this be a divinely inspired conversation that we have, Yah. Let everything be said, Yahuwah, pleasing to you, and everything that is not pleasing to you, Yahuwah. I pray you give us eyes to see and ears to hear before we speak those words, Yahuwah, that we would not say them, Yah. I pray that this edifies the body, but also brings you glory and honor. I just thank and praise your holy name, and I thank you, Yahushua HaMashiach, for what you did for us, for dying for our sins and renewing that covenant for us. I just thank and praise your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Okay, where's the share? Okay, sharing. Okay, let's see why it's not sharing. Okay. Can you see that now? Is it sharing? The Omer? Why isn't it sharing? Okay. Okay, just a moment. Okay, that's in share. So it should be sharing it. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can get that off. Is that sharing?
No,
Okay,
just a black screen
thank you.
at the bottom. Yep.
Thank you.
Now I can see you on the big screen, which is good.
This is what I should be able to. You are now it's screening, isn't
Now
it?
you've got it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one on, but I think I'll leave it. We'll do the summary of the 7 days of unleavened bread. I wanted the Omer first so that you could understand, but it doesn't really matter. Maybe it really doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, well, I know, you count it for 49 days,
Okay,
but
we'll go over.
I'm just like, what do you do to count it? You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was reading from a Psalms 119 every day, and going through the, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, that sort of thing, each day. But
Okay.
yeah, just a bit lost still with some of those things because it wasn't what in Babylon, you don't learn any of that.
Okay. I think it's going to share in order. So the next one is the Omer. So I'll just go through the summary of days unleavened bread for us today. We're commanded to eat unleavened bread every day, as we know, represents every day of our life, trusting and being at one with the Father and His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, eating, digesting Yahuwah's ways, truth, and life. It's His righteousness, these 7 days, that He is perfecting our life. The commandments, the feasts, the instructions, the judgments. 7 means complete perfection, Yah's righteousness perfecting in us every day. You remember the day, which was yesterday, we were freed from sin, bondage, baptism, repentance. Our realization of our need of the Messiah, death, for our sins, especially at Pesach, Passover. The 7 days represents Yah's complete work in our life by His power, His covenant, relationship between us personally. We are also told to remember this all the days of our life, to hate the evil way, fermented bread sin past, and love Yahuwah's way of life, Him representing unleavened. The 7 days of unleavened bread represents Yah's renewing our minds, His word, and our full trust in Him. Sincerity, truth, purity, His goodness and righteousness, abundance in health, love, humility, and trust in Yahushua. In all things, even at times of affliction, suffering, joyfully for His righteousness' sake. Our life represents the 7 days. Our life starts new after we are freed from sin, which was the night to be much remembered, which was last night. Was it the night before? That is. Okay, Yasharel Israelites walked for 7 days, leaving Egypt in haste. They walked day and night. Their fear at the last was that Pharaoh was going to kill them. Their haste in getting out of Egypt, compared to us, is redeeming the urgency now, the short time we have on this earth, in being perfected daily in the renewing of our minds by the Father's Ruach Spirit. We are to be careful not to over-focus on the evil in the world, which is quite easy to do at times. I've been guilty of that myself. Rushing away from evil, we should live more abundantly. The Israelites suffered as slaves, bondage to sin. When they left Egypt, sin, their enemies pursued them, which was entirely not their fault. If we must suffer at certain times in this life to develop and be perfected in Yah's character in us, it's preferably from no fault of our own, but for doing righteousness and truth's sake. The bitter herbs represent their bitter bondage in Egypt, and our sin. The saltwater tears and our past sins were bitter to us before our repentance baptism, which kept us in bondage, but now free from sin. Deuteronomy 16:3, you shall eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for you came forth out of the land of Egypt, Mizraim, in haste, that you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt all the days of your life. So that is really remembering your baptism when you repented, and that too. They feared. The opposite was to trust in Yahusha. That's what they needed to learn. The first in our life is to stay focused on Yahuwah's ways and do his will, righteousness, and seek his kingdom first, and his righteousness and promises of his kingdom. We are to continually to learn and grow in his ways, truth life with Yahuwah's Ruach spirit. In his love, by his righteousness, we guard, keep his commandments, instructions, ways, truth, and right judgments. Okay. Any comments on that? That's just the summary. Okay, can I see any? Okay, there's no comments. Okay, we'll go into the Omer now. Share. So it's, oh, there we go. Where's the Omer now? It's the next one here. Right. Share. Sharing that one. Wrong one. Still coming up for some reason. Why does that do that? Okay, what do we got now? Get this zoom up. That's great.
Well,
Is anybody commenting on that? It's all right. I'm just going to try to share the Omer.
yeah. Well, while you're looking for it,
Yes, please comment.
can I ask how what people did on their Payshok?
Please
Did they
do.
have it as a group, or did they do it on their own? Or well, we, Carol, Heather, we had another brother, and myself. We did it this year at Carol's place, and it was lovely. We did the foot washing. Yeah, it was really nice. It's really loving doing the foot washing, as Messiah did. And yeah, it was a lovely evening. Baruch. That's what I'll say.
Okay, let's see if it'll do it now. Good, thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, here we go. Good.
Is the Omer there? Tell me it is. I can't see it. Is it there? Am I sharing?
It's got exit full screen, but it's not coming up.
Okay.
It's YouTube. Yeah, I don't know what
It's
you
not
clicked
no.
on.
It's okay. I'll just having a look why it's not doing what it should be doing. I can see where it says share and it's doing it. There it is. There's the desktop.
There,
Yep.
now we got it.
Oh,
Good.
hallelujah. Praise you. Okay. Okay.
Oh, we're still learning how to do all this.
No. Oh, don't say I've lost it, have I?
Yeah, I got it. You've got it. It's
I've
good.
got
We can see it. It's wonderful.
Okay, that's good. Good job I've got on this computer here. Thank you. So the Omer, we are commanded to keep the Omer.
What is the Omer?
The Omer is a sheaf of the barley that was the wave offering the first fruits of the wave offering. It was waved on the Shabbat, I believe it was, but I'll get corrected if I'm wrong by Dr. Pigeon. But because he's not talking about today, because it's not really the day of Omer over there, so he won't be talking about that there. And I know last year he didn't speak about it in Portugal, the Omer, so I'll go through it. He may this year, I'm not sure, because me and someone else was counting it then in Portugal. The Omer is actually a sheaf. What is the Omer? Here we go here. Can you see what is the Omer? Do I need to?
No.
Okay.
The Omer is counted every evening after nightfall. That was what's blessing Baruch for counting the Omer. That's all
Yes.
I can see.
Can you see all that?
We see all the text, yeah.
Good,
You can
okay.
see the text.
Okay, so the Omer, what is the Omer? The Omer is literally a sheaf. It was the grain from the first harvest barley that was brought to the temple as a first fruits offering. They weren't allowed to start harvesting for those 49 days, 7 weeks, 50 days, until everyone had to bring it in. The counting begins on the day after the Shabbat, during Pesach, Passover, week when the first omer of barley was harvested and brought to the temple. So I'm just going
So it was spring over there, up
Yes,
the
it's
northern
spring
hemisphere, yeah. The day after the Shabbat, after
it's after the Shabbat, the first Shabbat, not as the Judaism does it. They do it actually after the day. They do it on the. Okay, they do have the Passover, then they have the first day of unleavened bread, and they call that the High Sabbath, of course, which it is, and then they start it then, which is not correct. If you see the scriptures, it's actually the Shabbat, and you have to count 7 Shabbats, and it's very clear in Leviticus, okay? In Leviticus 23:5, in the first month, on the 14th day of the month, in evening, is the Yehua's Pesach, Passover. On the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread to Yahuwah. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and in the first day you shall have a holy convocation, which is an assembly. You shall do no regular work, but you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahuwah 7 days, and in the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no work. You spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Yisrael and tell them, when you have come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of the harvest. And it will be accepted before you on the next day after the Shabbat. The priest shall wave it.
That's the first Shabbat after Passover.
Yes, not the high Sabbath, not the first day of unleavened bread, because it doesn't work out, because the other scriptures will tell you, and I can just let me see something here. Can I get that? Yes. So when you count it, anyway, I'll get back to my notes. I'm going out from my head at the moment, so I don't want to lose the track of it, the order of it, okay, to speak. Okay, can you see that now? Still?
Yep.
Okay, now we'll just read it and go slowly, then we can ask questions too. The Omer is counted every evening after nightfall. Before counting, we stand and say the following blessing. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and our command us concerning the counting of the Omer. Today is the first day of the Omer. Blessed are you, O Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us, put by your commandments and commanded us to be a light unto your nations, and has given us Yeshua, our Messiah, the light of the world. Now, Psalm 67 is also recited daily because it is composed of exactly 49 Hebrew words which correspond to the 49 days of the Omer count. The psalm is seasonally appropriate because of its harvest motive. It is spiritually appropriate because it speaks clearly of Elohim's salvation, Yeshua, I should have wrote there, but Yahusha, being made known over all the earth, Selah, so that your way may be known on earth. your salvation among all nations. Let the nations praise you, O Yahweh, Elohim. Let all the nations thank you. O let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For you shall judge the peoples righteously and govern the nations on earth. Selah. Let the nations give thanks to you, O Yahweh. Let the nations praise you. The earth shall yield its increase, and you, our own Elohim, shall bless us. Yahuwah shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. That's in Psalm 67. Now, counting the Omer. The Omer literally, as I said before, is a sheaf, was grain from the first harvest, barley, that was brought to the temple as a first fruit offering. The counting begins on the day after the Shabbat, during Passover week, when the first omer of the barley was harvested and brought to the temple, which was the first fruits. Yusha was the first fruits offered, and we are the first fruits after that. When to count the omer? In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, in evening, is the Yuah's Pesach, Passover. On the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread to Yahweh. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. In the first day you shall have a holy convocation, meeting or getting together or talking. You shall do no regular work, but you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. 7 days. In the 7th day is a holy convocation. You shall do no regular work. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Yisrael and tell them, when you have come into the land which I give you, and shall reap its harvest, then you shall bring the sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest, and he shall wave the sheaf, that is the barley sheaf, before you to be accepted. On the next day after the Shabbat, the priest shall wave it. Now, why do we count the Omer for 49 days? It's good to ask questions. You are commanded it, and you shall count it to you from the morrow after the Shabbat, from the day that you brought the sheaf, Omer, of the wave offering. Yes?
That's the morrow after the Shabbat. So today's Shabbat, so that's tomorrow Sunday.
Yeah, we start counting at sunset.
Sunset tonight.
Well, it can be the sunset any time in the Shabbat because it's 7 Shabbats, as we'll read. Read in Leviticus 15:6. Even tomorrow after the 7th Shabbat shall you number 50 days. Okay, Bridie, yes? Bridie?
I just wanted to, this is just my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the count is 49 days.
Correct.
Because it starts this evening, which is when the first day starts for us, evening to evening. So it's Saturday night for Sunday day is the first day. So it's 49 days because then it goes 7 Shabbats. So when we get to the next Shabbat, it's the full rotation of the 50 days. And it's 49 days because that's the time it took for them to do the harvest, which is why then they made bread with the leaven in it, because it's the first fruits of the harvest, which we offer to him, which Yahushua HaMashiach is our first fruits because he's the first to be raised from the dead. He's our first fruits. So that's the symbology there. But I'm pretty sure it's the 50-day count because the 49 days,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
good.
Thank
Thank you for explaining that. Because that probably explained it clearer than I did. Thank you, Friday. The Torah commands that during this time each year we count the 49 days or 7 weeks from the day after the Shabbat of Passover week. The 50th day is the feast of Shavuot, which means weeks, from the counting of the 7 weeks. In Christianity is known as the Feast of Pentecost. Pentecost means 50. The first Pentecost was actually celebrated every year for 1,500 years before the book of Acts. Pentecost celebrates the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai, or really it's unleavened bread. But the foremost reason to obey you is that the count demonstrates our thrill for the impending occasion of receiving the Torah, His truth, Yahuwah's loving instruction. Just as a child of 10 counts the days until the day of school or upcoming family vacation, or we count the days to show excitement at again receiving the Torah instructions. Counting in the anticipation of an exciting event is quite understandable. Also, it is not a countdown, but a count up as we ascend the mountain of Yahweh. To better understand, we first need to answer a more basic question. Why did Yahuwah wait 50 days after Yasharel left Egypt before giving the Torah? Well, considering this, why didn't he just simply give it to them in Egypt or immediately after their departure? Well, I think the answer I've considered it is that Yasharel was not yet spiritually equipped to receive the Torah. For over 200 years, they had been living in Egyptian society known to be the world's centre for immorality and vice. But the high-impact adventure of the Exodus, 10 miraculous plagues, and the splitting of the Red Sea launched Yasharel Israelites into a physical freedom. Yet, a one-time experience, as powerful as it is, does not permanently change anyone's emotional attitude. You can move the people, as Dr. P says, out of Egypt physically, but difficult to get Egypt out of the people. So they begin on the first day of the week after the 7th day Shabbat, Passover week. The spiritual growth, Yeshua, perfecting us is like climbing the ladder, must be one step at a time. The growth that occurs during this time is akin to a marathon. We pace ourselves and seek to improve day by day until we reach the day that we again receive the Torah, his instructions, and the Ruach at Shavuot, what they waited for. But life is not a race to beat the other guy. Life is only a race to conquer your inner self. As we climb the ladder, it's more important in which direction we're headed rather than which rung we're on. And we cannot even conquer ourselves without the Ruach, his spirit. Don't just count the Omer, make the Omer count. The Master's resurrection makes the counting of the Omer a season of special significance and joy for his disciples. It is time to remember the resurrected Yahusha. All his post-resurrection appearances and ascension fell within the days of the Omer count. He ascended on the 40th day of the counting of the Omer. And they also, for 10 days, they actually were told to wait till Shavuot, which 10 days represents the 10 commandments, instructions. So counting the Omer begins the day after the Shabbat. Okay, first fruits. Is any questions so far? Any comments too, and to clear anything up that I may have said?
Would you be able to put that up, a link in the chat so we can download it?
The PDF file. Can you
Yeah,
put
what
PDF?
you're reading, what you're reading
PDF,
now.
I can put a PDF file. Will it come up though, Robin, if I put a PDF file? It's on my computer. I'll put a PDF file up. If it doesn't come up, I can send it to you if you send me your email, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I can send you all this, okay? No problem. Counting of the Omer sheaf, the blessing for counting the Omer. That's another thing. There is a blessing, a baruch. The Omer is counted every evening after nightfall. Blessed are you, Yahuwah, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us concerning the counting the Omer. Oh, well, I mean today, it starts tonight. I guess the first of the Omers tonight. I should have. Thank you, Bridie, correcting that. Okay. Blessed are you. It is the 7 Shabbats, and then it's the next day. So, blessed are you, our Elohim, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with his commandments and commanded us to be a light into the nations and has given us Yeshua, our Saviour, Messiah, the light of the world. So Psalm 67, which I read before, I think, no, I didn't, is also recited daily if you want to, or other psalms, because it is composed of, as I said earlier, 49 Hebrew words, which correspond to the 49 days of the Omer count. So Psalm 67, may Yahuwah be merciful to us and bless us and cause his face to shine on us, Selah. So we can say that tonight, and so that your way may be known on earth, your salvation among all nations. Let the nations praise you, O Yahuwah. Let all the nations thank you. Oh, let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For you shall judge the people righteously and govern the nations on earth. And he's judging now. Let the nations give thanks to you, O Yahuwah. Let all the nations praise you. The earth shall yield its increase, and Yahuwah, our own Yahuwah, shall bless us. Yahuwah shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. What else can we read? We can read Psalms 119 is also read, as it is all about the Torah, the statutes and the judgments. It's the longest psalm in the scriptures. But anyway, Exodus chapters 19 to 33, Ezekiel chapters 1 to 4 and 35 to 39, and the book of Ruth. The book of Ruth was in the barley harvest. That's why the book of Ruth, and with Boaz, was in the barley harvest. So that's why we put Ruth in there. Okay, right. So the PDF file, can I put that in the chat? Let me see. Okay, PDF file. Okay, I'll try to do that now.
You should be able to copy it and paste it in the chat and then be able to send it. Hopefully.
Okay, I've got to stop sharing though at the moment, okay? So then I'm going to see if I can do it now.
I think you did it once before.
I probably did.
Mm.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't even have chat down here at the moment. Would you believe? Because they change things. They update things. They did tell me they were going to change it and bring it over.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's just the chat's probably in your place still the same. But I'm going to just hang on. Let me see if I can.
If it's easier for you, Carol, you can just send it to me and I'll put it in the chat if you
Oh,
want.
hang on. I can put it on Telegram now. It can go on Telegram now. I'm going to put it on Telegram. That's easy because I've got Telegram here. It's coming. Okay, why is my chat not here? Can anybody see my chat? No, we can't. Okay, let's get it up and it might come. I got my chat. Okay, but I can't get, or can I? Hang on, let's see. No, let's see if it'll just copy. Okay, maybe. Back here. Okay, coming. Okay, we may have it. Let's see, paste. Is that going to be, I did copy and paste it, but I don't know if it is. Will that come up? That's what I pasted from a PDF file. If not, I can put straight into there or email it, okay? But I can email it to you, Bridie, and I can also put it on the Australian, which I can do now straight away. Okay, Australia, where am I? Except for Australia. Okay, the file is in there now, in the Telegram Sefer Australia, okay?
thank you.
Okay.
Mm.
Some, even I can even put if you want the summary of unleavened bread, I'll put that in because it's only a short one page.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done. Is it? Yep. Oh, my Omer's done. Okay, it's done. Okay. Doesn't want to do that one. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, the Omer's done. I can do that later anyway, so we'll get back to the so it was that clear. Are you all clear on that? And anyway, you can go over it later, so that's good. I don't know if that PDF file did go there, but I'll check that later. Okay. Now, okay, let's see what we next was. We did the summary of the unleavened bread. I was going to talk to you about, which was quite interesting. I don't think a lot of people know, but you may know this. I'm just going to check to you. The unleavened bread, which I didn't bring up on Passover when we had the Passover, because I have so much here. It would take too long. Okay, so in the Passover, maybe some people would like to know why they dipped. Yusha dipped it with Judas, in the sop. Okay. Now, with the sop, it's very interesting because I did a study of this about 20 or 30 years ago, and it actually, baptism, it's to do with your baptism too. Also renewing your baptism, unleavened bread. It's when you're washing your feet too, it's the way, and it's also a renewing of the baptism that you were baptized to, and because that's when you go down in the baptism, you're clean, and then you come back up. But the feet and the hands, which they did. Okay, so I'm just going to come back here. Is that page 5? I think it is. Yes. Okay. Okay, so when you got dipping, the bapto, once dipped the unleavened bread was temporary baptism, okay? Twice dipped was permanent baptism. Now, the Passover night was the only time they dipped unleavened bread twice, representing permanent baptism. Now, how we prove this is in the Strong's, bapto, a primary verb, to overwhelm, cover wholly with a fluid, only in a qualified or specially sense, literally, to moisten that. Okay. Now, dip bapto is not to be confused with 0907, baptizo, because there's two Greek words, okay, and they're different. The clearest example that shows the meaning of baptizo is the text from the Greek poet and physician Nicander, who lived about 200 BC. It is a recipe for making pickles. It's very helpful because it uses both words, which the new Greek does in the new books of the Bible, okay? Nicander says that in order to make a pickle, the vegetable should first be dipped into boiling water, and then baptized in the vinegar solution. Both verbs concern the immersing vegetables in a solution, but the first is temporary and the second is the act of baptizing the vegetable produces the permanent change. So when the Pascha Supper commenced by the head of the company, that's what they understood. Some of them would have understood that at the time. On all other nights, they dipped the herbs only once, but on the night, they did it twice. So that's how important it was, the Passover. Okay, so I thought I'd just share that with you, because I did it the Passover the other night, and I sometimes don't remember that. Okay. Okay, so we could go into deeper in the unleavened bread, or we could just go straight into the Torah portions. What would you like to do? I think that Dr. Pigeon will go into that, the unleavened bread, the one that was just done an hour ago, approximately an hour and a half ago. He put it on. So maybe we could start with the Torah portions. Would you like that? Do you all agree with that? Or do you
What's
want
the Torah portion today?
the Torah portions here? I can share it now. I think I've got the Torah portions here. Well, I did have the Torah portion there. Okay. So it disappears sometimes, things here. I don't know why. Okay. Okay. The Torah portion was, I don't remember now. I copied it because I must just get it back on the screen of Sefer.net. Okay. Okay, there it is there. Am I sharing? Let's see. Let's see. Sharing. Desktop. Is that sharing it now? The Sefer? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, so the Sefer is Exodus 33, 12, 34. Then it's the Ezekiel 38. Then it's the, does he speak on this? Oh, he's not speaking on this one. And Lucas. Okay. So we could do that, or we could speak more about unleavened bread. That's up to you. Would you like to go over that? Anybody's hands up? Okay, Judith.
I'm just wondering, so I knew unleavened bread was 7 days, but I didn't realise it was no work, like a long Sabbath.
No, that doesn't say there's no
last
work
day.
at all. It's only on the first day. It's a
Oh.
holy convocation. And the last. Maybe I should go into more detail with the unleavened bread then, okay? When I find it. Yes, so it's the first day, which is the night to be much remembered, which is very important. That was that night after the Passover. That it's a time to remember and celebrate because you've come out of sin, bondage. They come out of sin. They're out of Egypt that night. That day they were getting gold and silver and they were asking for all. They even had wagons, everything they needed to take, which Yahuwah asked them to ask, and they were given it because they were frightened, and they thought and said that they'd all die if we don't get these Yasharel out of here. So we'll give them anything they ask for. They were giving it to them. And that was going on all day, because the first night of the Passover, they weren't allowed to leave until morning. That's very clear in the scriptures. So what happens is you have a Passover that night that you should talk, but the lamb was at 3 o'clock. Then they were doing the Passover. That was the temple Passover, because in Egypt, in Mizraim, they actually did it the same as Yusha did that night. But 3 o'clock, it had to be done that way. It's in harmony, because actually Yusha knew he was going to die at 3 o'clock. So that's when then the days of unleavened bread on the 15th starts that night. And then that's the night to be much remembered, because they had all that day to leave and to get everything they needed to leave, and they weren't out of Egypt till about that night. That's the night they left, and that's why he says it's a night to be much remembered, to be rejoiced, because you're out of sin. So the 4 cups that he went through 3. I go through 4 cups. Okay, because in Exodus it tells you 4. I'll see if I can get that up. And we'll go over that, because the 4 cups is important. The 3 cups is that, but he may not have had time to do the 4th cup. But that's okay. It's in Exodus, and it talks about the last one is acceptance. He accepts us. He sanctified the first cup. You're set apart from Egypt after the 7 plagues. He set them apart. Then you're delivered. He delivers you out of sin. And then he redeems us. And then the 4th one is, the 2nd one is judgment and deliverance, okay, out of sin. So it's judgments on them and deliverance, and they come out. And then the 3rd is redemption. And the 4th is acceptance. He accepts them. And it's all in one verse in Exodus, which is in my other, I'd have to look that up. So that is important, because then there was 7 days leaving there till they got to the Red Sea. And that's the 7 days of their traveling. And that represents our 7 days of life before we go into, where we're learning too. So there's a symbolism of both. And they're in harmony with one another. Okay. I'll see if I can find that now. What was, you had a question, Judith? It was something else you asked me, the 7 days. Yeah, it's only, you can work on the 7 days. You're only allowed to, it's a high Sabbath after the Passover, the first day, and the last day, the 7th day, is a high Sabbath, high Shabbat, okay?
So, in the Passover, they had to stay indoors, and didn't they travel the next day in daylight?
Yeah, they were actually getting all their stuff, and they started traveling, but they weren't out of Egypt completely. They were in Ramsey. He actually, I think he got them together in Ramsey, because he was a military and he understood there's about 2.5 to 3 million approximately. And so, but they weren't out of Egypt completely till that night, and they travelled, it says, day and night, because he had a pillar at night and in day. He had light at night. So they at night.
They stayed indoors during Passover to be protected. Then the next day there was a big gathering of all the Hebrews together.
They were asking for produce and for everything. They had wagons for the old people, probably, and other things they had. They had things.
That was the next day.
That was that day, yes.
Yeah,
that was the day of the Passover still, because it's that day, because that night and that day. And then they actually, all day, they were preparing to leave, because they weren't allowed out that night. It's quite clear in the scriptures they were not allowed out. They had to stay in till it was passed over. So the next day they were there, and they were trying to push them out of Egypt. They wanted them out of Egypt because they said that we'd all die if we don't get them out. So, and they were told earlier to ask for whatever they wanted, and the gold and silver they asked for, of course, that was their wages of their labour, which is the minimum double, because they really sold out as slaves, and they weren't really to be slaves. But Yah did that plan for a reason.
I think one of the translations uses the word borrowed the gold.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be correct, but I'm not going to say it is or not. I'd have to look into that. Because it was given to them, they asked for it, and then it was given to them, and they were kicking them out. So I'd probably look into that word, word
Hebrew.
a little bit more. Borrowed. Okay. So what version is that one that you're talking about? Or
I'm not sure.
I'll quickly look it up, or if Bryby can, I've got the other computer here. Borrowed. Good question. Borrowed. Let's see. And the children of Yashar did according to the word of Moshe, and they borrowed. Okay, let's see what that is in the Strong's Concordance, and I'll just have a look.
Oh, you found it, have you?
Yeah, I have found it. I'm just looking now. Borrowed. Okay, let's see what that. It's the BD Browns driver Biggs and Strongs I've got here. Implication to request. Charge, consult, demand. So it's called Shael in Hebrew. Strong's 7592. Brown's driver Briggs says to ask, inquire. It can be borrow and beg, right? It doesn't seem, I think it can be, if I have a look where it's been translated everywhere else. That's 172 times it's been translated, and it's translated to inquire, ask. Okay, I don't believe it means borrow at all. Okay, Judith, because
that's good to hear.
172 places here, and most of it is, there's 2 places in Exodus borrowed, right?
So which translation was that had borrowed?
That was the ESV and King James, I think. ESV I've got up at the moment, and the Strongs, and that to get the Strongs I have to on Sword get I get the other versions, because the Sefer doesn't have it on there. And he stand before Israel and he ask. There's a lot of ask. 172 times. Desireth, consulta, desirest. Ask. It looks the majority is asked. Okay, what I'm looking here, I can't go through the whole 172. I'm flicking through them now, but I've got inquired and asked.
Yeah,
I'm still flicking through, and it's asked.
In the Sefer, what is it?
Okay, I'll quickly tell you in a minute. Okay, the Sefer. Let's see now. Bible Sefer.
It says borrowed.
It says borrowed. Okay, it does say borrowed. Okay.
But the connotation of that is to ask or as a favour.
I think, though,
be good to change it, wouldn't it? I think,
Judith, I really agree with you there, because to us in English, borrowed means borrow and you give back.
And you give it back.
I agree there. Though it can be, in Hebrew, a word can be translated quite a few different ways. But this would have been asked. My heart believes, I can be corrected on that, because they weren't going to give this back. As it says, the children of Yasharal did according to the word of Moshe, because that was from Yahuwah that told Moshe what was going to happen, and they borrowed of the Mizraim jewels and silver and gold and all the rest of the raiment and things. So they borrowed, and the people had favour in the sight of Mizraim, so they lent, he's got that too, into them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Mizraim.
I'm not arguing for it, and it's just unfortunate that it is in the Sefer like that. It would be
there's
nice
a few
to
little
have it
things.
changed.
I think I'd have a look at in Portugal.
One thing though, with borrowed, they were deprived of wages. So it was restitution for what the wages that had been stolen from them.
Yeah. So that's not borrowing, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, like in Strong's or Brown's Briggs Driver, it's to ask for a favour.
Yes, it is.
So that's a lot better translation.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 172 times that Hebrew word, and most of it's ask, inquire, desire. Most of it's asked, I think. I haven't looked at all 172, but I flicked it really quickly, and I probably saw about 30 or 40, and it was mainly in ask.
Bridie's got her hand up, Carol.
Bridie, yes, please. Away you go. You just
I just wanted to say that it does say in Jasher, it says, and Pharaoh ordered the children of Yasharel to be sent away, and all the Mitzarim strengthened themselves to send them, for they said, we are all perishing. And all Mitzarim sent Yasharel forth with great riches, sheep and oxen and precious things according to the oath of Yahuwah between him and our father Abraham.
Wonderful, thank you. That's really good
Yeah,
because
that's
that is. I knew that was more than that. They did take a lot.
what chapter and verse in Joshua was that,
That's
please?
Jasher 80, starting in 58.
Thank you.
Also, with that, Judith, how you're asking before, did they all stay inside? In Jasher 80, it also explains that all Mitzarim, they had their firstborns. There was pretty much in every single house. I think it actually says in here there wasn't a house left without a corpse in there from a firstborn. But just fact check me on that because that is in Jasher 80. But it says that when Pharaoh's daughter went down to see Moshe because of all the devastation, she saw them inside celebrating, rejoicing, and giving thanks. So they did stay inside, but they were keeping the feast and they would rejoice.
They were rejoicing too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that was a good question. Thank you, Judith. What am I saying? Okay. So we'll go on. What else would you like to ask about unleavened bread? Okay. So we know that the two set apart high day Shabbat. That is why his grandfather had to take the body down before the high Shabbat. That's why they wanted to. Bridie's got a hand up still, or is that still on because it was left on? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Well, is there any more comments or questions on unleavened bread? Do we need to go into it any deeper? We understand that unleavened bread is the 7 days that we're eating. The unleavened represents his righteousness. Oh, do you understand the difference between the Passover unleavened bread and the unleavened bread that's the 7 days?
No.
Okay, well, I'll help to explain that out of my head. Okay. Well, the Passover unleavened bread, it's a little look, you got Passover and you got 1 day, and then you got 7 days unleavened bread. We've got the 8, of course, which means new beginning, and you've got the like on that with the first fruits too, new beginning of Yusha and all of us. And Sukkot has got the 8 days also, okay? So the Feast of Tabernacles. Well, the Passover unleavened bread represents his death, his flesh that was healed and the stripes that were healed from him. That's what, when we eat that, we recall that he's dying for our sins, okay? The 7 days of unleavened bread are his righteousness. We eat and we digest his righteousness. He's the word of Yah. He's the instruction. So the 7 days are eating of that unleavened bread, which is pure truth, righteousness, and his kingdom. The unleavened bread that we eat, because a lot of people had asked me many years ago, or not asked me, but I'd asked the questions too and needed to understand why should we eat bread after the Passover, you eat the Passover, and then can you eat bread? Well, I feel, only my opinion here, I consider it I don't. Even if it says 7 days of unleavened bread, because though it's not wrong, I'm not going to say it's wrong or right, it's because I feel the meaning of when you go through the Passover, the bread is the stripes, even on the Matzah bread, they have the stripes and they have it pierced. It's because he was pierced for our transgressions, and also it was all to do with sin. That's what it was to do with. Where the unleavened, when we're eating in the unleavened bread for those 7 days, is perfecting us with his word, because he is the bread of life. He is the word. So, to my understanding, and I see that as a little difference. There's a bit of a difference there, okay? But you can comment on that, and that is what Ya's shown me anyway. Okay. Yes, Heather.
I was just wondering, was it anything to do with the barley harvest?
What's this? The unleavened?
Yeah.
Well, they had unleavened at the time. When they come over Jordan, it was a barley. It's the barley harvest, and it was made out of barley.
Okay.
Yes, it was. At the time, it was the barley harvest.
Thank you.
That's why, Janie. Yes, please unmute yourself. Could you ask? You want to? Yes, Janie. Could you unmute yourself, please? Okay, let me see.
Sorry, it took me a while to figure it out.
Okay, thank you.
I'd heard a while ago, and I don't even know if it's true, that barley is a softer grain. Well, I know that's true, and that when you harvest it, you only had to winnow it, which is, like tossing it up in the wind, or basically speaking of the ruach, separating the chaff from the grain, because it's a softer grain. You don't crush it. And that the wheat was a harder grain, and it had to run under a tribulum on the threshing floor and be threshed, and then you winnow it. So I don't know if that's true or not. And also that barley was considered like poor man's bread too. So yeah, it's just interesting about the different grains, and the fact of eating this simple bread, pure bread, I suppose, in some ways. And the best sort of in some ways. Anyway, it was just an interesting thought about the whole thing, and I really like the understanding of the cups and the double dipping, because I always wondered why the Russians were doing what they were doing with their baptisms, that they were double dipping and sometimes triple dipping just to go one more. But it's all very fascinating anyway.
Yeah. Yes, I did that about 30 years ago. That study on the baptizo on that, so it was a long time ago. Look, that was really interesting. But Robin is very good with the barley and the wheat because she grinds it. So maybe can you actually comment on that, Robin? Have you got any comment on that for Jamie? Because I don't grain my grain. You do, Robin. So please.
Well, the unleavened bread I made was 50% barley and 50% wheat, because the barley doesn't have any gluten in it, so it tends to break up more. So for it to be elastic, for the wraps unleavened bread I made, I did put a bit of wheat in it, and it is softer. Yeah, and I have made bread just with barley too, but I found it was more crumbly. Yeah, that's my experience anyway. It doesn't hold together the same because there's no gluten like in the wheat.
Thank
The
you for that.
elastic part that, holds it together. But the barley that, because I had I had barley and I had wheat and I had a mill, so I was able to grind it and make it straight up.
Thank you,
But
Robin. That explains a lot. That does explain a lot. Though,
but if it was made into a thicker cake, if it was made into thicker ones, it would crumble more easily than because it doesn't have that gluten in it like the wheat does. That gives that bit of elasticity. It just will break more. That's my experience with it, but I'm just learning how to do all this too. So I'm sure there's people that know a lot more than me.
we're all
Maybe that's why
learning still.
Mm.
All of us. Bridie, yes, Bridie.
I think the harvests are also representing spiritual harvesting as well, because you have the barley, the wheat, and the grape. And
Yes,
so the
that's
barley
right.
is the easier harvest. You don't have to do as much to it. They're quite easy to harvest. So that's kind of spiritually, you think about the people who have come to Yahuwah. And then you have the wheat harvest, and you have to take it to the threshing floor and you have to beat it. And it then becomes the wheat that you need, and then you've got the grape, and you have to tread and press it. And it says in Revelation, it talks about Revelation 14, I think it is. It speaks about the harvest in Revelation, about how they say the harvest is ready, take your sickle and go and harvest it, and you've got the wine, the grapes that get trodden on. I think it uses the word blood. It talks about how blood comes out. So I think it's also spiritually representation of things that happen, because it's not only are we going off of the Hebrew calendar where it's seasonal for them in their harvest time, it's also spiritually seasonal as well, because you do have the physical calendar and the spiritual calendar that we work from. So I don't know if that's what Jani was talking about or not, but that's my understanding of it as well.
Thank you, Bridie. Eddie, Anthony, any comments on that? Heather?
No, it was well
Okay,
put.
you're fine.
Really
Okay,
good.
well put. Okay, thank you for those comments and questions, and it's good. Thank you, Robin, too, because I don't grind my own grain. I buy it. I do buy the organic done, but I know it's a lot better, because see that plate over there on the left? That's Robin's work. That's her bread, the barley and the wheat she made for unleavened bread for us. Thank you, Robin.
Awesome.
It's awesome. Tastes very good too. She does a good job, doesn't she, Heather?
She does.
She does.
So
Thank you.
good.
It's really good. Okay. So was there anything else that we could speak about on unleavened? We're understanding of the resurrections, the 40 days and the 10 days they waited, which represents the 10 commandments. Yes. Oh, Bridie, can we see you? I put you on full view and then I can't see you. Your
It's
hand's
really
still up.
dark in here. The camera keeps going orange to black, so I just leave it off.
Okay, that's fine. You wanted to say something else, or is your hand
I
still
just
there?
wanted to say something interesting when we're talking about like unleavened bread, first fruits, and counting the Omer. Is I find it really fascinating how it's all kind of connected, because
Mm.
the Israelites in the first Exodus, they were inside and they did keep Pesach, and there was all this devastation on Mitzrayim, but it didn't touch those who were Yah's people, who put the blood on the doorposts. So then we're waiting in anticipation for the second Exodus. So we put the blood of Yahushua Mashiach on our doorposts by keeping the feast and keeping it the way Yahushua told us to keep it, which was when he said in the word, how he said, keep this, drink this, and eat this in remembrance of me in his renewed covenant. And then we look at how when the Israelites came out of Mitzrayim, and on the third day, they were given the commandments. And Yahushua HaMashiach is the word, and he rose on the third day, and we are sustained by his word. And it says in the word, you are not, you do not live, what is it?
Bread alone.
Yeah, that's the one, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahuwah. So there's the commandments. So I just find it interesting. And then you've got the counting of the Omer, which is the 49 days, the 7 Shabbats. And then when you get to the 50th day, which 50 represents a Jubilee, which is the year that all of the slaves get set free, and everything gets brought back to null again, and you get to start afresh. So it's 7 Shabbats, which, as you said at the start, was what 7 means. I just find it interesting how it's so interconnecting with each other. And then we get to do all of that, but it's like we kind of do it from remembrance, but also in anticipation for the future. But I just find it interesting how it all connects. Do you agree with that, or am I wrong?
Well, no, it connects perfectly with the Jubilee and everything it does. And the 40 days when and they were 40 days in the wilderness, remember, 40 years. So the 40 means quite a lot too. And you've got the 10 days that they waited for the Ruach, and it come down mightily and powerfully on them all that was staying there. It wasn't just the disciples, it was the others that were there too. And wasn't it 3,000 were baptized then, and 3,000 were destroyed in Egypt, in Mizraim. So for numbers is very important, and that's why we keep the Omer also. I didn't when I was first 19 and 20, when I was first keeping the unleavened bread and Passover. I never understood the Omer then. Okay, so I'm still learning, and but the Omer is important. We are instructed to, and I think it's fascinating too, because we are to look forward to growing in more truth and getting rid of all the deception, um, that we've been brought up in. We've been educated in our schools and in everything, and when we had no choice of that. And that's when I was saying when I wrote about the Egyptians, when they were coming out, they had no choice of, they got really, well, in the book of Yasha they did, because the Levites actually told them not to go and get caught up with making their bricks and that, because they first were being paid. I think it's in the book of Yasha. I've read too many books, I guess. But I think it's the book of Yasha that they were getting paid to help them build these things at first. So they got conned. They didn't. It was just not overnight that they got into slavery there. They were paid. The Levites were exempt because they knew. And they said and warned them not to do it. And I think it's in the book of Yasha, but I can be corrected on that.
I think it was to wall a city or something. The wall,
Yeah,
build walls.
that's
Yeah.
right, because Esau was
So there was
actually,
fear.
there was fear of Esau because Esau had attacked before and they wanted them to help, which they helped there. But then after that, they were getting paid for that. But then they asked them for other things. And I know the Levites didn't want them to do that. Okay. And they said, no, don't do any more. Right. So, what
And
happened there? Yeah. So do you recall that, Robin?
my recall of it,
Yes,
which
please.
is, my recall, which
Yes.
is not,
Okay. Oh,
was that the Egyptians were working on it too. And so was Yasharal working on
yes.
it. And then what happened was the Egyptians gradually withdrew and they were getting paid, and then they sort of enslaved them to do it. So it's a lesson for us,
Be
with
careful.
we've got to be very careful
Careful.
that we, don't tie ourselves down to Babylon too much. Um, so they and the ones that didn't participate, which was the Levite priesthood, they weren't enslaved
No, they weren't enslaved.
ever.
No, they weren't. They weren't enslaved.
So there was
That's
some
correct.
contract there.
Yes. There is one reason that I've read somewhere. I'm sorry, I don't always recall where the books that I've read. It says that in Joseph's time that they had a priesthood, of course, the priest they had, and they were exempt for a lot too. So any priesthood was exempt. The Egyptians had their own priesthood, which was pagan, obviously, but they were exempt from a lot because they brought that up later on with Joseph with something, and I can't remember in the books. Do you remember that, Robin, or somebody else remembers that? So there was, the priesthood was exempt, the Levite priesthood, because the Egyptian pagan priests were exempt from things also. So I read that somewhere. So anyway, okay, where do we go from here now? Where would you like to go to? Do you want to go to the Torah portions, or you want to read a bit more about unleavened? I think we've pretty well asked questions and we've answered a lot, but is there any more? I should have backed that up by scripture, the fourth cup. I do need to get that scripture. It's in Exodus. Where was it now? Okay. So they had actually 4 cups, and the last one was he accepted them. Okay. Dr. Pigeon does a little bit different than me, because the second one he says judgment and deliverance because they come out of Egypt, and that goes to there. But that's correct, because he judged the Egyptians and judged his people, because remember, it's not really their fault their children ended up in Egypt, but they did get caught up, as we were speaking, by deceit. They got gradually pulled into getting paid, and then they gradually only paid them every maybe approximately 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, and then not at all. So it was a gradual period where I've read that happened, that they got into slavery. So really, when we read the summary more in Exodus, there's a lot more in Yasha, like there is in the crown of thorns, in Yasha when it talks about Isaac, and everybody knows that he was around 37 years old. He wasn't a child. It's quite easy to prove that by scriptures. He was about 37 approximately, Isaac, like he was a type of Yahusha. And when Abraham went to sacrifice him at Mount Moriah. So, and then you had the lamb that had the crowns of thorns on him, which represented Yusha also. So some people still think he was young, a boy in the Christian churches, but he wasn't. He was about 37, and you can calculate that out by knowing that 2 years later he was mourning approximately for Sarah, and then Abraham tells his servant to go and get him a wife, to get a wife for him, not from the Canaanites. So that is kind of, I think it's in the book, I don't know if it's the book of Jubilees or in Yasha or one of the other books. But, oh, no, it's in Yasha, that one. It's definitely in Yasha, yes, that's right. It's in the book of Yasha, that. And so it's the Christians look at it like it's a child and it makes it look bad. But, of course, Isaac was wanting, he understood the plan, and Abraham understood the plan completely. They understood that Yusha, our Creator, needed to come down on earth, and the Father was to give him to the world, for all the sins of the world. Okay, is there any comments on that, or anybody would like to add to it? Thank you. The chats. Okay, so will we start on the Torah portions then? Okay. We'll start on the Torah portions. Okay.
Exodus 33, you said?
Oh, just looking it up now. What did I have it on Safari or Firefox? I can't remember now. Okay. It's on Firefox. Right, okay. Now, is that screening now? Can you see the Sefer there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so that was the last one he's put on. It's Exodus 33. Correct, Anthony. Good memory. Exodus 33. Who would like to read that?
I will, if you like.
Thanks, Anthony.
Is that from the start or verse 12?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It is.
From the start or verse 12?
Yes,
From
it is.
verse 12.
Well, yes, it is. There's 13 down there. See the 13? So that must be 12. So
All right.
Exodus 33, yeah, that's 12. It does start at 12. Thank you.
And Moshe said unto Eliyahu, See, you say unto me, Bring up this people, and you have not let them know it, whom you will send with me. Yet you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found grace in my sight. Now therefore I pray you, if I have found grace in your sight, show me now your way, that I may know you, that I may find grace in your sight, and consider that this nation is your people. And he said, My presence shall go with you, and I will give you rest. And he said unto him, If your presence goes not with me, carry us not up hence. For wherein shall it be known here that I and your people have found grace in your sight? Is it not in that you go with us? So shall we be separated, I and your people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, I will do this thing also that you have spoken, for you have found grace in my sight, and I know you by name. And he said, I beseech you, show me your glory. And he said, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim the name of Yahweh before you. and will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will show mercy to whom I will show mercy. And he said, You cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. And Yahweh said, Behold, there is a place by me, and you shall stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passes by, that I will put you in a cleft of a rock, and will cover you with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen.
Did you want to continue reading, or somebody like to comment on that?
Can I make a comment?
Please do.
We started at 12, verse 12, but in verse 11, I'll just read it.
Please.
And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe face to face, as a man speaks unto his friend. And he turned again into the camp. But his servant Yahusha, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So in verse 11 it says, and Yahweh spoke unto Moshe face to face. And then in verse 20 it says, and he said, You cannot see my face, for there shall no man see me and live. That always confuses me.
Okay, let's get that up and go over it myself. The 11, just getting it up now.
Could it be a problem with translation?
Me too.
It's a good question.
Good point, Anthony.
Good on you.
Good observation.
Very good observation.
Mm.
Okay, 33, 11, 10 and 11. Okay.
So that's in the Sefer version too.
Yeah, okay. The people saw the cloudy pillar here, that tabernacle, and all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent.
Do you think maybe he took on the form of a man in the tent?
I'm just reading it now.
He may have.
Because
Because
he used to come out and his face was shining, remember? And he had to cover it up.
That's right.
He had to cover it up. And you were
And that's why he appears in the burning bush, doesn't he? Because Moshe couldn't look upon him, because no man looks upon him and lives.
well, we know angels can appear in the form of a man. You know, like, and you know, you how do you not know that you do not entertain angels unawares? They're not the Most High, but maybe the Most High could
Yeah.
do
And
that.
after the resurrection, Yahusha, he appeared talking to the disciples along the road, and he was obviously in a bodily form, but not the form that they recognized. He had taken on a human form there.
Yes,
That's right.
And as it says, you can't see him and live all of his glory and honor. In our realm of our physical bodies, we can't see that part of that realm of his spiritual part of him that's so brighter than the sun, the light, and that. So that was a good comment. Those comments are really good. And there's a pillar of cloud that stand at the tabernacle door, which is interesting, and all the people rose up and worshipped, every man in his tent door. Yes, he was speaking to him.
So maybe he cannot see in all his glory.
No, that's correct.
Cannot see that, but he could appear like, other Elohim, the little Elohims, can appear as people in different forms.
That's correct.
And even Yahusha, that good point there, on the road appearing, and they didn't recognize him. So, maybe it was in the a form that wasn't showing his full glory.
Oh, I'm sure it had to be because he would not.
Yeah,
He could, by the scriptures, Robin, as you're right, you can't see him in his full glory. That's why he had to put his hand there, and he only saw the back part of him. So that all those comments are very good. I think Anthony, they may have answered your question because definitely remember doubting. You called him Doubting Thomas, but I
Doubting
guess
Thomas.
yeah. He saw him. He did see him, and he's in his form that he was before he passed, not in his spiritual form, because he put his hand in his side.
In his side and in his
Hand, yeah.
and in his
Palm or hand.
palm or his wrist.
Wrist, hand, yeah. By the shroud, it's kind of down further in between there, which I've had a study on the shroud a long time ago, and I found it. I think it is the real shroud, that one.
I've always thought that, in reference to the shroud, that the Catholics have always tried to hide it.
Yes, I have got a
And
bit of proof on
they're
that.
deceivers. So
Yeah.
maybe it is the real thing.
Well, I've got that. I can get it up if you want to look at it, the shroud and a little bit of it. I mean, it's up to you, but maybe I don't know if we have the time. I'll just.
Why would they want to hide the fact that it could be
I don't-
Yahusha, the Catholics?
There's many reasons. As to why, I don't know, but there's many reasons of things that they've hidden, as in changing the day of the Shabbat, and then they worship the Queen of Heaven and idolatry and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, why wouldn't they hide it if it's the truth about Mashiach and all that pertains to him?
Does it contradict something they say?
A lot they say is contradicting to the word.
But it's contradicting that shroud is of Yahusha.
It becomes an idol.
But they have sort of other idols.
They have many. All the saints.
That wouldn't be a problem.
That's a good question, Judith. I don't know why they don't want it to come out. I've got no idea. Maybe it might take it from them. People might go and delve a bit
Takes
more.
their authority.
It takes their authority because there's a lot in that. I've got it on truerevealing.info, a lot on that. That is mine. I'll put in the chat. That's my True Revealing.
There's something up recently. I just saved it on YouTube not long ago that I found was really, really interesting about the shroud, but I didn't post it or anything. I just kept it.
Well, I've actually got it all on my True and Revealing. I did a big thing on it a long time ago. And I personally believe it is the shroud, okay, because it's done a lot of scientific. There's people have done, which are not even Christians and didn't know much. They've taken the cloth and they can prove where it come from, and because there's even what is there now, dear me? There's from Jerusalem. There's the botanics, like the leaves or something. They can still find that it's still in the cloth. It's amazing what they can do, science now. So anyway, there was a lot there. I don't know if I should get it up or not, or we should continue. It's up to you.
They've made an AI generated from the shroud alone of what Mashiach actually looked like.
Yeah, you want me to show it to you?
Sure.
Okay.
May I say something?
Okay. Is that screening at the moment?
yeah, it's there.
Okay. This is my website that I've had for 15 to 20 years. Or maybe more, I don't know. Crown of Thorns. Okay, revealing the deep meaning of the Crown of Thorns. Different types of thorns in Yeshurel. Okay. As there it is there. The revealed meaning of the Crown of Thorns. Oh, okay. That was going to be released, was in Pentecost 2:17 that I released. But I don't want to go down here. Hang on. It's the thorn bush. Oh, dear. No, I didn't know that was all there. Okay. I thought I had photos.
That's the old one. Those photos there of Mashiach, they're the photos that the Catholic Church has inside their churches.
Mm.
Carol, may I say something?
Yes.
I would like to point out that when Yahushua died, he was all bloody, he was all swollen, he was unrecognizable. And yet in this shroud, which I believe is real too, he is healed. Look at his face, he's not swollen. The blood stains are there, he's all put together. He was ripped apart, that man. And also the fact with his hair is hanging down like he's standing up, not lying down.
Mm.
A good observation.
And I think this is real.
Actually, I had more pictures on here, but they didn't take it over. They're supposed to renew it and take it over because they're having a new format. And they said this format that I had a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago, they said that they're not doing it anymore, and I needed to update it. And they're supposed to have changed it over free of charge, this, but they haven't done everything, I notice now. I'm looking at this one. It's okay, but it's very important because see this number 3, which is on the image of the shroud. Actually, I had some big photos of this, I'm sure, up here, on here. Sorry about that. But notice the number 3 on the image of the shroud. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 10. See, these aren't really the thorns. They're big thorns. There's 10 of them. They weren't that. There was 10 thorns and the 10 commandments. The meaning of the thorns. Yeah. Okay. So, So the crown. The number 3 is very important, which is written in there. I woke. Oh, okay. The 3 represents the 3 nights in the tomb, sign of Jonah, and the 3 major commandments at the front on his forehead, which is the first 3 commandments to him, the major ones. The 3 represents in the 3 nights in the tomb, sign of Jonah, the 3 major thorns on the front of his head that represent the first 3 commandments, also the Father, his sanctified Spirit, and his beloved Son. The 3 items in the Ark of the Covenant, the 10 commandments, the manna and the rod and budded scepter. The dream of the chief butler, chief baker, that Yahuwah, it should be Yahuwah, not God, sorry, gave Joseph the interpretation of representation of these 3 days, that one would live and one would die. The same as we had one that come out and died, that was released, and one lived. Yah died, and that man died, that the priest wanted Yahushua to die instead of this other man die, and he was released on the Passover. The chief baker of bread represents the death of Messiah, and his flesh was eaten by the birds. It is written, unless you eat of my flesh, you will have no part of me. That's his body, his flesh. The unleavened bread at Passover, his word that was given for you. The butler could pour out the wine again to Pharaoh again, represented his blood, the live goat. Life is in the blood, the 2 goats in Leviticus 26. The above is what Yahuwah revealed to me to share and be released in the Feast of Weeks, Shabbat 2:17. Much, much more revealed about the number 3 I have listed below. Okay, the 3 branches at 3 days. Yes, within 3 days Pharaoh shall lift up the head. And then you've got Joshua down here, and it came to pass after 3 days that the officers went through the host. So the crown of thorns is to do with the curse. It goes right back, okay, to the curse. When they plaited of the crown of thorns, they put it upon his head and a reed in his hand, which is the same Greek word for crown is also in 1 Corinthians, Timothy, and all those. Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown. And that's important for this day, that no man take your crown. The thorn bush Moses saw on the fire that didn't burn. The Hebrew word translated bush is thorn bush and speaks of thorn bush. It is from the root meaning to prick. Thorn bush represents the cursed prison there, where there is no escape when caught up in it and not redeemed. The curse represents by the thorns and thistles in Genesis 3:7. The burning bush symbolizes the people whom Yahuwah has redeemed from the curse, and therefore are immune to his consuming fire. We're talking about the bush that Moshe saw. This consuming fire is the fate of the wicked of the world, who are represented by thorns. Abraham and Isaac, in Genesis 20:13, Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. Thicket in Isaiah 9:18-19. For the wickedness burns like a fire, it consumes briars, thorns, it kindles the thickets of the forest. The thicket is the same Hebrew word in both verses. He is a consuming fire. And that's why it didn't burn. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring. So all this you can read if you want to later on, okay? Okay, did you find that?
Thank you.
Did you find that interesting?
Yep.
It is. Very interesting.
I put the AI image of Mashiach on the Sefer Australia group.
Okay. Yeah. There.
Is that in Telegram?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, so some of my I had a lot of photos here and a bit more information here. That hasn't been pulled over. Like, I hope that I've got it on a stick or something somewhere, because this was done maybe 15 to 18 years ago. So, not the Pentecost 2:17. I had a vision of the crown of thorns and all that, what they were, and then he backed it up by scriptures here, which I love when he backs everything up by scriptures, because I don't like anything that he reveals to me not backed up, okay? Then I know it's right. Okay, so that's there. That was there. I wasn't going to show that today, but that's fine, okay? But it's good. I was going to bring that out in Pentecost. But it's okay, because it's really 4 now, because he did have the crown of thorns at Passover. Okay, sorry, I'm just flicking through. Yeah, so you understand why the bush didn't burn now. It symbolises the people from Yahuwah has redeemed from the curse, and therefore are immune to consuming fire of Yahuwah. Consuming fire is fate for the wicked, and the world who are represented by thorns without a redeemer. Okay, now where am I? Oh, okay, now I've got to try to get back now. There we go. I'm back. I'm back. Okay. Now we'll go back to. Is there any comments on that at the moment?
Can I make a comment? Can you talk about the consuming fire? I had a discussion with some people about the consuming fire, and what you said, Carol, and we all agreed that you're absolutely correct when you talk about the marine spirits and why the consuming fire has to come this time to destroy all of them as well.
It goes through the water.
Yeah.
The fire goes through the water. My sons can see it. I know it goes through the water.
That was such a revelation when you said that.
How come it goes through water?
Because it's a spiritual fire.
Yeah.
And the only spiritual fire can destroy them is that. It also talks about it in Ezekiel 28, Isaiah 14. We're talking about how he, Hasatan, and the evil ones will actually be destroyed from a fire within. Plus, they go in the lake of fire also. It's a lake. Isn't that interesting? It's a lake. And marine kingdoms are in lakes and in creeks, and they're in quite a bit. They're in creeks.
Yeah. And it talks about authority over the heavens, the things on earth, the things under the earth, and the things in the sea. You know, and that's where the Pope, they have that Dagon worship with their fish-headed, what do you call them? Hats.
Yeah.
And you can see in a lot of the symbology, you know, like the trident symbology and that sort of thing. That's all to do with those wicked entities that are in the waters, because they didn't get destroyed in the flood.
Yes, ma'am.
And Yahusha walking on the water was his authority over them.
That's right, over the marine kingdom. Oh, thank you, Yah, for...
And like the storm that come up and he rebuked the storm, you know, that was, that's all to do with that.
Oh, correct.
Isn't it not long after where he walks on water where he he goes and then he's confronted by the bloke who, my memory,
The one that had the legion of
has
demons.
legion, and then he puts them into the unclean
Well, actually,
swine.
it was when they thought they were going to drown. That's the time it was.
And then they jump into the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they do. They go back to the Marine Kingdom because he was near the sea, see? The Greys were near the sea. So the pigs were down there and they were violent, and they were very violent because it tells that I think he cut himself, he tried to kill himself, he was suicidal and all that, and he was quite normal then after you did that. But he did that when the disciples were frightened, and they thought that they were going to die because of the storm, and he was sleeping in a deep sleep, and he actually rebuked them because of their
Ye of little faith.
little faith. Basically, he said, "Where is your faith?"
Where is your amunah?
And he asked the question again, doesn't he, before he returns? Will I find faith on earth? And it's going to be trusting in him is very important, and more than ever at this time where there's so much darkness. But the joy is, much joy is, because he's going to judge the evil first, and he's going to destroy them. We're going to see that. We're going to see the destruction of Gates and all these so-called people that are so evil, pedophiles. All they're going to be destroyed. And we're going to see it, and we're going to rejoice in the same. I know he says we don't. The wicked, he doesn't, the wicked, but we will, there's a time to rejoice too that the wicked are destroyed, but there's a time not to too. Yah doesn't get joy out of the wicked, okay? But we'll rejoice because it's the world's going to be, his kingdom is coming, and they will be put down and not deceive the nations anymore. And notice that was Exodus, your 10 commandments in Exodus. It talks about you shall not make unto you any graven image in the likeness of anything that is in heaven above, that is in the earth beneath, and the waters underneath. So it's talking about all their gods underneath, the Dagon gods and all those goddesses that are of the water, which they are.
And a lot of these UAP sightings or whatever go under the ocean too, or into the lakes.
And the octopus marine spirit is interesting when I went to Portugal, because they had the biggest statue of an octopus. You've got no idea. I thought I took a photo of it. It was incredible, right near the water. This big octopus, and I was told also before I left, because that's why I went to Portugal, not because I would have gone there, only because I had a mission to do that with Stacey and Baz.
Jessica.
So, but it's interesting, I didn't know anything about the place at all, where we were going. I didn't know there was a big statue of the octopus. I didn't know it was one of their biggest, they sent them to Japan and all the rest of it and what they do. I didn't know it was one of the biggest colonies there. I did not know anything until I went there, did what I was supposed to do, and then showed me. So he always confirms what you are to do. He will confirm it, okay, what you are to do when he instructs you to do things, okay. Like he did in, where else was it? Oh yeah, Norway and Iceland and places like that. So it's just interesting that it is. But it does, I was so fearful of them. I'm talking about many years ago, maybe over 20-something years ago. I was so fearful of the evil ones, and Yah gave me, I would not go into them. I had a vision of, he was saying, you will go here into this heaven where they are, this portal. And I said, I don't want to go. 3 times he asked me to go. I said, don't go. I'm not going. He said, you will go. And the 3rd time I went, and I ended up, all these evil spirits are there. And Yusha said to me, go over. And I said, I'm not going anywhere without you. I'm sticking here. He said, you will go there. I'm with you. So I went over there, and some of them bowed down to me. And these others, then they roared. These other evil ones will not bow down to Yusha or me or anyone, right? Not that I wanted to be worshipped or anything, but I think that was, they bowed down to Yusha because they knew his power. And they may have known what was going to go on, which I did not know at the time. And I remember them roaring going to attack me, and he just pushed me back with him. And he basically was saying, do not fear them. I've given you the power over them. Do not stop your fearing. basically. And I had fear, and I had to overcome that with him, Isha, and never thought that many, many years later I'd be doing what I was doing, which he instructed me and taught me. Somebody asked on, Jessica asked me to talk about it, and some of the people weren't ready for it because there was a bit of a feedback saying, "Oh, did you get this information from there?" Well, I did not get the information. I had a information that I had to deal with my family with the Marine Kingdom, and of sacrificing and all that, and it was stopped because Yah protected my children because of Deuteronomy 6 and 7, which promises that your children and grandchildren will be protected if you love him. Mind you, they can go the wrong way, but he is still not going to let them be sacrificed to the Marine Kingdom. And that is the reason why I found out more about the Marine Kingdom, because of my personal needed to stop. But that's another story. Though Jessica, Dr. Stacey rang me and said to me they're not ready for this. I said, Jessica asked me to talk about it on the while, and she had a bit of flack with it, and he said they're not ready, Carol, for that. And at the time, but now they're starting to understand more about the spiritual, the in-depth of the enemy that we have. And as I said, that's not what I put my hand up for Yusha. I was actually put it there. He wanted to do it.
It's everywhere. Like even the in the macro and the micro, you look at the some of these parasites and things, and they, the black eye. I don't know if everyone's seen that, where certain ones get these black eyes, like the Queen and Prince Philip and different ones, and they say it's a parasite that goes in behind the eye that controls them. And what is that? Well, and also too, like
blind them.
We touched on this the other day.
Yes, we did.
Pardon? Sorry?
Yeah, we did. The blindness.
Yeah, but also the other day that they parasites can cause behaviors in people, and they can be, like people that are promiscuous can actually pick up certain things that make them behave that way. It's like an infection, like it's, what are they doing when they're doing that? What are they taking into their own bodies? Do you know what I'm trying to sort of allude, that it's a spiritual thing? Like when they have a union with someone casually and they spread that around, like they're taking on, it's like a soul affecting them. Like they can be affected by these demonic entities and influences that can even come through like parasitic infection. And like you look at cats, Jenny spoke about it the other day with the behavior in the replication, I think it's toxic, I forget the name of the parasite, but it infects the mice, and the mice behave in a certain way so to encourage the cats to attack it and eat it, but it's the parasite that's doing it so that it can replicate and continue. So people that are promiscuous, sleeping around, what are they bringing into their bodies? It's a recompense for that.
It's also the soul ties too that they get, that the soul ties end up, that other partner has
there's
spirits,
a lot more to it.
They go in, they have the authority, the legal right to go in. But anyway, the parasites are important because it can be a physical, not just a spiritual blindness, but a physical blindness. Parasites can give physical blindness to people.
Well, they can affect the organs, the brain. They can control behaviour. To ensure that their own replication, because it's not in their interest to have the host die. It's more in their interest to spread. But there's what's controlling some of these things. I think there's more, a lot more than what we understand.
Yeah.
We only see a little bit, tiny bit.
Yeah.
We don't see the whole picture. But Yah's opening our eyes slowly.
Yeah. Removing the veil.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, he is. Can you see that pot? Thank you, Robin, for that. Yes, we're learning and learning and learning more, and he is revealing more to us, and he will reveal more to us than people like the Simpsons and all the rest of that, because it's his will for us to know. Not just the evil ones know a lot, but we are to know more and more of the mysteries and of his coming and more, and he will reveal it. All we need to do is ask. Is the Sefer back up again? Am I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, great, thank you. Sometimes I don't know if it is screening. So we're up to, is it Ezekiel 38? Is that correct? No.
No, we've only read that little bit of Exodus, and we're up to Exodus chapter 34.
Okay. Okay.
Which talks about the stones.
Okay, so who would like to speak about that now? Who would like to read? Would Judith or
Someone else.
Eddie, would you like to read? Or Judith? Robin?
34.
Judith, yeah, would you like to
Okay.
read?
Yeah, all
Thank
right.
you. Thank you, Judith.
Beginning verse 1.
Yes, please.
Yeah. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Hew you 2 sapphire stones, like unto the first, and I will write upon these sapphires the words that were in the first sapphires, which you broke. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present yourself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with you, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount. Neither let the flocks nor herds feed before that mount. And he hewed 2 sapphire stones like unto the first, and Moshe rose up early in the morning, and went up unto Mount Sinai, as Yahweh had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 sapphire stones. And Yahweh descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahweh. And Yahweh passed by before him, and proclaimed, Yahweh, Yahweh El, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children, unto the 3rd and to the 4th generation. And Moshe made haste, and bowed his head toward the earth, and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found grace in your sight, O Adonai, let my Adonai, I pray you, go among us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for your inheritance. And he said, Behold, I cut a covenant. Before all your people I will do wonders, such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which you shall see the work, and all the people among which you shall see the work of Yahweh. For it is a terrible thing that I will do with you. Guard it, that which I commanded you this day. Behold, I drive out before you the Emori, and the Kenani, and the Hittite, and the Perizzai, and the Hivii, and the Jebusai. Take heed to yourself, lest you cut a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither you go, lest it be a snare in the midst of you. But you shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their Ashtoreth poles. For you shall worship no other El, for Yahweh Kana is my name. He is a jealous El. Lest you cut a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their Elohim, and do sacrifice unto their Elohim, and one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice. And take of their daughters unto your sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their Elohim, and make your sons go a-whoring after their Elohim. You shall make no molten Elohai. The feast of Matzah shall you guard. 7 days you shall eat Matzah, as I commanded you, in the time of the month Aviv. For in the month of Aviv you came out from Mitzrayim. All that opens the womb is mine, and every firstling among your cattle, whether ox or sheep, that is male. But the firstling of an ass you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you redeem him not, then you shall break his neck. All the firstborn of your sons you shall redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days you shall work, but on the 7th day you shall rest. In earing time and in harvest you shall rest. And you shall observe the feast of Quatsiir, of the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of Akiyif at the year's end. Thrice in the year shall all your men children appear before Adonai Yahweh, the Elohai of Yasharel. For I will cast out the nations before you and enlarge your borders. Neither shall any man desire your land when you shall go up to appear before Yahweh Elohika thrice in the year. You shall not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven. Neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Pesach be left unto the morning. The first of the firstfruits of your land you shall bring unto the house of Yahweh Elohika. You shall not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, write these words, for after the tenor of these words I have cut a covenant with you and with Yasharel. And he was there with Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the sapphires the words of the covenant, the 10 Devarim. And it came to pass, when Moshe came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 sapphires of testimony in Moshe's hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moshe knew not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aharon and all the children of Yasharel saw Moshe, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moshe called upon them, and Aharon and all the rulers of the assembly returned unto him, and Moshe talked with them. And afterward all the children of Yasharel came nigh, and he gave them in commandments all that Yahuwah had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. Until Moshe had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moshe went in before Yahweh to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spoke unto the children of Yasharel, which he was commanded. And the children of Yasharel saw the face of Moshe, that the skin of Moshe's face shone. And Moshe put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him.
Hallelujah.
Well, there's a lot of comments for that. I think there would be. So who would like to speak? Or comment on it? Anyone like to comment on that? I'm just, yes. Yes, Heather?
Well, I really liked how his face shone. It's saying to me that when our Father walked past him, he's absorbed some of the light onto himself. So when Father was gone, he still had the Sheena on him.
Yes, he did.
I agree. Well said.
Yeah, well done. He did. He still had it on there.
Yeah.
And what's the question is, why did he cover it up for them?
They were frightened.
They were frightened. They had the wrong fear. They didn't have the understanding of the respect. They were kind of blinded to a degree. A very good comment, Heather.
Thank you.
That was good. I'm glad you brought that up. That's good. Yes, so he covered it. Then he went in, and the veil was representing the veil going into the Father and the light. And you have a need, and Moses did not fear as much because they were fearful right at the Ten Commandments. They went backwards, and then when the thunder and the lightning was brought on because they didn't fear. They had the wrong fear. All that there, and the thunder and the lightning, is because they did not fear. Because he said to Moshe, go down, they're going to break forth. And he said, no, they can't, because I've put barriers around so they won't. And I've told them not to. And he said, go down there. They're going to break forth. So he knew their heart was wrong, that wanted to see him because of the glory that was on the mount. And they had the wrong fear. And then when it thundered and the lightning, they went back and said, they frightened that they were going to die. And Moshe said, no, and he went forward. The difference was he went forward, and we are not to fear. And as I said, I had to learn that lesson. As I said, 3 times he wanted me to deal with things, and I didn't want to in that vision. But I did at the end. But that's how merciful he is and gracious to us. And we are to overcome our fears and not fear death, not fear anything. Only respect and fear him. So that is good what you said that, because that is what that veil was all about too, because of their wrong fear. It's their wrong fear that they had. They didn't have the respect. That's why they weren't allowed in the veil. They were only allowed in the outer court or outside until, they learnt. But they were stiff-necked, as he said. Okay. 22, I was going to look at that, 22, verse 22. 30. It talks about the wheat harvest here in Exodus 34:22, but I was just wanting to find out what that, that meant. What's that called that? Does anybody know? I'm just looking it up, the harvest and the feast of ingathering. He's actually put the feast of Katsir, but anybody know what that means?
Is it harvest, I think?
It's definitely a harvest. It seems the wheat harvest. It's just that when I look in the Strongs, it's not it's just saying the wheat. It must be the harvest. Hang on, here's the Strongs here. It means harvesting. That's what that means. It must be maybe the Hebrew word in the Sefer for that, because it means harvesting by Browns and Strongs. Harvesting, crop, reaping. Okay. Would anybody else like to comment, or I will go on to Ezekiel 38:18. Who would like to read that? Robin or Heather? Robin?
I can't.
Okay. Robin, would you like to read? Thank you. Could you unmute yourself? Thank you. Yes?
Ezekiel 38.
Verse 18 to
Okay, I
39,
just have
16.
to get that. I was trying to comment on Katsia, but
Please do.
because I got it on the Sefer app on my iPad.
Yeah, I was going to get my iPad. It would tell you.
And it's
What does it say?
my glasses are terrible, these new glasses.
My iPad's here. I can have a look.
It's very hard. But it says harvest.
It is, yeah.
If someone's got an app, I can't read
I've
that.
got it.
My
Actually,
glasses
it's
are that
okay.
bad, I can't read it.
I've got it up here in Brown Strong's, and that it is say he's just put the Hebrew word in here, and it is the QAT here in the Hebrew here, and it means harvesting. It means harvesting, time of harvest, boughs, harvesting. I just looked at it and I didn't know what it was. I was looking at it and thinking, what does that mean? But was it Judith said harvesting? She got it. She knew. She's got it right. Okay.
And asif means in gathering.
Yeah.
Same verse,
Yeah.
according to Dr. P.
Well, that's fine, because it does say harvest, reaping, crop, time, reaper. So, yeah, that's right. That's what in the Strongs and the Browns. So that's the same. That's good. Thank
Also
you.
a limb of a tree. Also a limb of a tree, or simply foliage, bough,
Correct.
branch, harvest, man.
That's correct. A limb of a tree or a simple
Yeah.
foliage. Yes, bough, branch, harvest, man. Yes, that's what the Strong says. Yes, boughs, branches. So it can be, how many times? It's 54 times in the King James Version. And it is mainly harvest. Let me see, harvest. Mainly in the King James, it's harvest.
I am the vine, you are the cats here.
Okay. Yeah.
Or the Nazarene.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Anthony, Judith, and Robin for that comments and the question I was asking what it was. Robin, have you got Ezekiel 38 up now? Have you got
Yes, I've got it open.
Thank you.
So chapter 38, and the word of Yahuwah came to me saying, son of Adam, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech, Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn your back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth, and all your army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Cush, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gema and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with you. Be prepared and prepare for yourself, you and all your company that are assembled to you, and be a guard to them. After many days you shall be visited. In the latter years shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and it is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Yasharel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. You shall ascend and come like a storm, and you shall be like a cloud to cover the land, you and all your bands, and many people with you. Thus says Adonai Yahuwah, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into your mind, and you shall think an evil thought, and you shall say, I will go up to the land of the unwalled villages. I will go to those who are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn your hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. Sheva and Dedum and the merchants of Tarshish, with all the young lions thereof, shall say to you, Are you come to take a spoil? Have you gathered your company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of Adam, prophesy and say to Gog, Thus says Adonai Yahuwah, in that day when my people of Yasharel dwell safely, shall you not know it? And you shall come from your place out of the north parts, you and many people with you, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. And you shall come up against my people of Yasharel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring you against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in you, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus says Adonai Yahuwah, Are you he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants, the prophets of Yasharel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring you against them? And it shall come to pass at the same time, when Gog shall come against the land of Yasharel, says Adonai Yahuwah, that my fury shall come up in my face. For in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Yasharel, so that the fish of the sea and the fowls of the heavens and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all men that are upon the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. And I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, says Adonai Yahuwah. Every man's sword shall be against his brother, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will rain upon him and upon his bands and upon the many people that are with him, an overflowing rain and great hailstones, fire and brimstone. Thus I will magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Now, chapter 39. So what do I go up to? 16.
Well, there's probably...
Yeah.
well,
So anyone want to comment?
On that before we go on? There's a lot there.
Yeah,
We're living it.
I think it's timely, isn't it?
Mm.
With what's happening now.
Very appropriate.
This, there's part of this is in Revelations too, them coming up in Revelations. It's prophesied. It amazes me the walls that they're unwalled. And if Jerusalem is Jerusalem, they've got walls all around them. So this could be a dual meaning for before, just, in the millennium and after the millennium, the little season of Hasatan. Because there's a lot of dual things, like we've got a first Exodus and a second Exodus coming up. The second Exodus in Jeremiah, it speaks of the second Exodus. And so we've got both. And that could mean also in the little season, there's a second Exodus. Also, could be another Exodus. It doesn't say first and second Exodus. It just talks about that this Exodus will not be talked about again. It's not going to be talked about. No, it's going to be talked about the second Exodus because it's going to be greater. It's in Jeremiah. So when or is it in Ezekiel? Ezekiel. Could be. Actually, that's important because a lot of things are dual and it could be both. I'm just putting it out there. I didn't say it was. You can consider it all and look up scriptures and see how it is. I do have a Bible study on the second Exodus, which I haven't gone over for quite a while. So for a few months now. But it's always can be added or taken away. More
well,
expounded.
one of Dr. P's, that P-Shack recording a few years ago, he talks about that. There's a scripture that was covered there that there'll be we'll be gathered from the four corners of the earth, and we'll be taken into our own land. Out of Egypt. We're going to be taken out of Egypt again because we're all in slavery right now.
Yeah.
And we'll be dwelling in safety. And I think there might be a final attack when that happens. Maybe I'm getting the timeline all wrong, and I'm only learning. But my understanding is that the nations will gather together, and I think there's a scripture that says it's like poking Yah in the eye
Well, it seems to
when
be
he comes against his people.
It seems the scriptures point out the plan is millennium beginning or at the end, and the little season too, because he gathers again and they come to Jerusalem. He does the same thing in Revelation when he's in the little season. He comes against Jerusalem when there's no walls and all the rest of it, and when the saints are there, the set apart people. So, and he does it again. So the scriptures seem to point to two that I remember my studies. Then we've got, what have we got? We've got the second Exodus also can be physical and spiritual. It can be a physical and a spiritual. It was a physical, the first Exodus, but he did want the spiritual. He wanted them to be tabernacle with him, and he wanted a close relationship with him and speak to them face to face. Well, speak to them from the mountain, not face to face, or take that away. But they didn't want it. They said, Moshe, talk to us, not him. So they didn't want that close relationship, which the 10 virgins did know him to a degree because they knew there's prophecies of coming, but 5 only had the ruach, the light in them. They all slept, but they come. So when you look at it, what happened to the other 5? What was shut? That could be. That's the spiritual and the physical we brought. It says they're all virgins. So there's a clue there. They were sleeping. We're all sleeping at one stage and we wake. So is the 5 the spirituals, that the doors open and we're resurrected? I'm just putting it out there to consider that the second Exodus is physical and spiritual, and especially when you look at Ezekiel 37, when it talks about the bones coming together. Some Christian commentaries say that's spiritual, that's just symbolism, but it's quite clear that he's going to take them out of the graves. It's quite clear, it's all physical there. Then he talks about in Ezekiel 38. I'm just going by my memory at the moment. So there's the things to consider anyway. Any comments on that?
Lou White does a teaching. Excuse me for interrupting. Lou White does a teaching talking about coming out of the graves, and he says that at trumpets, when the final trump is sounded, that all the graves are open and everybody comes out of the grave. For 10 days walks the earth as the form they went into the grave, and then atonement comes, and then the wicked are judged, and then Mashiach comes in Sukkot to tabernacle amongst his people. It's interesting. Also, the doubling up, I can't remember where I've read it, but the 10 plagues this time around are meant to make the first 10 plagues look really, really minor because it's the end times and Yah's wrath. The next 10 plagues are meant to be really bad.
Well, that's correct, Anthony, because it says in Ezra 4, I think it is, that it's going to be all, because he asks him, I think it's Baruch actually, he asks, is this going to be all over the world? And he says, yes, all nations are affected, where only Mizraim was affected at the time. Okay, when those plagues were, and only 3 plagues for Yasharel, and then the 7 last plagues were not on Yasharel. So that's correct, Anthony. Well, well brought out. That's correct because it does tell you that the whole world is going to be affected. Nothing missed out.
No one spared.
No, they're going to be affected. I got a feeling that's in Baruch because it's the Baruch it's talking. It is in Baruch. It talks about the times of the war, the dark time and the light time, and the dark and the light. That timing. And then he says, and he asks him questions. Baruch. He asks him that question: Is this going to be the whole world? And that's at the end, like we're talking about in this time now. And he says, yes, it will affect the whole world, not just that. So that's correct, Anthony, by the scripture backing
And
it.
the virgins with oil in their lamps are those who keep the feasts. And then they're the ones who are protected under the shadow of his wings when tribulation comes.
They're the ones that have a relationship with him and keep his
Amen.
instructions, as you said, Anthony. The sheep hear his voice.
And I know them.
And they know him. Now, Heather would like to speak. Away you go.
Hey.
Yes? Just see who, I think the speaker
with
might.
the 10 virgins, it sounds to me like they're pure. They're pure the way they live and maybe the things that they do, but they're lacking the spiritual side. And the spiritual side, we do have to keep ourselves pure, but the other virgins were pure and they had the spiritual side as well.
Well said. They both had understood the prophecy of him coming. They understood that, but they didn't have enough oil. They had not done what you were saying. They did not do their relationship, didn't work on it, and didn't stay close with all that. That's comment. You're right. So that's good. Now the virgins, it's important because they were called virgins.
They lived
virgins.
right.
They lived right, and they understood the prophecy of him coming. And don't forget, we all were asleep. But even if we do go in like the prodigal son and all this and that, well, not the prodigal son's not a very good thing, but we all can go a little back like David did, and things in life. You can slow down a bit, and then you're closer to him at one stage than you are at another. So it just shows you that we were all asleep and waking up. And a lot of people are waking up to the JAB and other things too now, even in the Sunday Christian churches. Some of them regret what they did. Some of them aren't. But that's that. So that a good comment. Yeah, definitely. That's right. Thanks, Heather. Thank you.
I also say about the when the dead are raised, they're going to get a different body. It won't be our old sinful bodies. It'll be pure, and the things of old will be left behind, and it'll be like Yahusha.
The blink of an eye.
In his physical form, he did, but he was different. He was changed, and these people that are resurrected, and when we are moved, we will probably be changed as well.
Yes, we were going to be as bright.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to in that realm we'll be as bright. But when we come, and if we can be as a physical being, we can come like the angels can go into a physical other being too. But they'll see us as we are. It says in one of the scriptures too, so they can recognize us.
We're different.
So that's good. Anybody else? I can't see, when I'm sharing, I can't see people putting their hand up. So please just unmute yourself if you'd like to comment. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so what we'll do, if no one's unmute themselves, what are we up to? I just noticed in Ezekiel 38, I'm sorry, what are we up to now? Have we finished that?
This goes into 39. Hang on,
Okay,
I've
there
just
we
got
go.
to find my screen again. I'm
Okay.
a bit all over the place. Where are we? Oh, here.
Yeah,
I just copied a scripture. I'm pasting it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Isaiah 11:10.
Now, where am I?
it's very
So
similar to
39
Revelations. Yeah,
to 16, isn't it?
that's correct. You can
Yep.
read that. Okay, unless someone else.
Chapter 39. Therefore, son of Adam, prophesy against Gog and say, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn you back and leave but 6 part of you, and will cause you to come up from the north parts, and will bring you upon the mountains of Yasharel. And I will smite your bow out of your left hand, and will cause your arrows to fall out of your right hand. You shall fall upon the mountains of Yasharel, you and all your bands, and the people that is with you. I will give you to the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. You shall fall upon the open field, for I have spoken it, says Adonai Yahuwah. And I will send a fire on Magog and upon those who dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahuwah. So I will make my holy name known in the midst of my people Yasharel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name any more, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahuwah, the Holy One in Yasharel. Behold, it is come and it is done, says Adonai Yahuwah. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Yasharel shall go forth, and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years. So they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoiled them, and rob those that robbed them, says Adonai Yahuwah. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give Gog a place there of graves in Yasharel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon Gog. And 7 months shall the house of Yasharel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown of the day that I shall be glorified, said Adonai Yahuwah. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers that go, that those that remain upon the face of the earth, to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search, and the passengers that pass through the land, when any sees a man's bone, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. And also the name of the city shall be Hamanah. Thus they cleanse the land. That's the end of 16.
Thank you. Okay. Oh boy, yeah, there's a lot to comment on that. I didn't go over the Torah portions before I come on. Not that I do usually anyway. But yeah, there's a lot in that, isn't there? Okay, comments please. Or questions. Or I have a question. Well, this is 7 years. Is this to the millennium? Oh, my question is, the millennium started yet? When does he start the 1,000 years? After this? After these? After the dead are all been gone, but he's already brought people back. The second Exodus has happened, spiritually and maybe physically too, or both. There's no walls. So my question's that. Can anybody answer that?
What's the question again? Sorry.
Does the millennium start after the 7 years here? When the dead are all buried? Or 7 months, I'm sorry. Did I say 7 years? Sorry. Yeah. It was 7 months, isn't it? Let me have a look.
Verse 14, is it?
Let me see, verse 14.
12.
Because
12.
it says that
That's 7 months, sorry, it was 7 months, I meant. Yeah, house of Yasharel being burying them, and they may cleanse the land. So it's got to be cleansed. I'm wondering if the millennium starts then. After
so it says, if you read on in that chapter, it says that 26 so after they have borne their shame and all their transgressions where they have transgressed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land and none made them afraid, when I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and I am sanctified in them and in the sight of many nations, then they shall know that I am Yahuwah Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them to their own land, and I have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my Ruach upon the house of Yasharel, says Adonai Yahuwah. So this is happening. This is like, if it's in context, this is at the end of that chapter.
This is the second Exodus.
But surely the tares have been taken or burnt, because neither will I hide my face any more from them. If the tares are here, Yah wants us to be clean and pure, then he won't appear if there's filth in the land.
Yep.
That's a good comment, because that's where he says clean. And it's the dead. They burn them with fire.
Yeah.
And going to bury them, it takes them
to cleanse the land. Yeah.
They've got to cleanse the land. So I'd say this is before the millennium starts. That's what I'm thinking and considering. That's when I was looking at it.
And the $1 million question that Dr. P always talks about, he gives a very good explanation, but who is Gog and Magog? Like, that's what I always wonder.
Well, he has an explanation. I'll leave that with him. Okay.
Yeah, I know he does. I know he has.
Yeah.
Well, London has the Gog, Magog, Lord Mayor's parade or whatever in their city, parading two giants around. So there's some connection. But
really?
I don't know. That's probably just something they've done for a long time, and I don't know if that identifies them as Gog and Magog. I don't know, because I hear all different explanations.
Okay, Heather.
They come from the north.
Yes, they do come from the north. Heather has something to say too, yes?
It looks very much like the end time prophecy, but also we've got to look at what hasn't happened yet. And we don't have the man of perdition yet. We haven't seen him yet. So we cannot be, I don't believe we can be right at the end, because there's still prophecies that have not happened.
That's right. That's absolutely correct.
That's correct, Heather. That's a good comment. Good comment. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Robin and Anthony. That's good. Yeah, there's a lot in that. And you can see that it's nice because he said he's gathered the people. Where was that verse? That he had gathered them.
When
I'm looking at
27?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, 27, yeah.
When I have brought them again from the people and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations.
Yes.
So they shall know that I am.
So he's sanctified.
Am Yahweh.
Yeah. and sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. Then they shall know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I've gathered them into their own land and left none of them anymore. So that, to me, works with chapter 37. Actually, it'd be quite interesting because I have not read, I think Robin has got it, the PDF file, that the Ezekiel needs to be put in the right order, which will help us. In the way, truth, and the life, it is put in there. And guess what? Guess what? I received them Thursday late afternoon before the first day of unleavened bread.
Pesach.
Yeah, so it was Thursday late in the afternoon. So I received them, so they're all there now. There was a hold up in customs. Funny enough, I got the ones from the Sefer Standard and the Sefer Large Print. I've had them for about 8 weeks now, about a couple of months. They come straight through customs because I've got an ACN number, a proprietary limited, and I've got an ABN number, which I can have under my proprietary limited different businesses. So it should have come through, but it didn't. It was a different it was FedEx come straight through to me. No hold-ups in customs. Just wanted to know something, and I sent it all to them. But DHL held it up. They held it up for about 4 or 5 days, working days, which is a pain. But anyway, I was dealing with it and sorting it out, and they've sent it. So I've got it now. I've got them. So that, because that's from UK and the others from England, because they're not, the Way, Truth and Life is not published in USA. Okay, so there we go. So that's just letting you know that they're coming. It just reminded me of Ezekiel, because Ezekiel is in the right order in that Bible. I'm not sure if it's in the Standard and the print, but I'm not sure. But, Robin, you said that it's definitely on the resources, isn't it, on Sefer.net? He's got
It was, but I went and had another look, and I think they've taken it down.
Have you
Because
got it?
I did download it off there years ago.
Okay. Have you still got that PDF file?
I might have it somewhere, but I don't have it on this.
No. But when you can send it to me, then I'll share it to the Sefer Australia. We might do that too. I think it's very important that it's in order, because it gets a little confusing if it's not, to be honest. I think it'll be really good. Okay, so any other comments? Lovely comments today. Are really interesting, and what we've got really. I thank you for the sharp minds that are on here at the moment. Lucas 21 and 38. Chapter 20 and 1. Who would like to? Bridie, would you like to read that? Thank you. You haven't read, have you, today? No. Are you there, Bridie? Are you? Could?
She might have gone.
Is Bridie gone, or she had problems, she said, with her internet? Oh, well, I think she just said that she couldn't put her face up because maybe it was going down. I was thinking it might have been the internet. She might have. It doesn't matter. I'm recording, so that's fine. Okay, so who else would like to read? Anybody else would like to read? Is it okay, Heather? You don't want to read. Okay. Okay, Luke, I'll read then. Okay. And it came to pass that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple and preached the Besorah, the chief priest and the scribes came upon him with the elders and spoke unto him, saying, Tell us, by what authority do you do these things? Or who is he who gave you this authority? And he answered and said unto them, I will ask you one thing, and answer me. The baptism of Yahuchanan, was it from heaven or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we say from heaven, he will say, Well, why then believed you not him? And if you say of men, all the people will stone us, for they be persuaded that Yahuchanan was a prophet. And they answered, and they could not tell whence he was. They didn't know. They said that. And Yahusha said unto them, Neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. Then he began to speak to the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard and let it forth to the husbandman, and went into a far country for a long time. And at the season he sent a servant to the husbandman, and they should give him of the fruit of the vineyard. But the husbandman beat him and sent him away empty. And again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and entreated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And again he sent a third time, and they wounded him, and also had cast him out. Then said the Adonai of the vineyard, What shall I do? I will send my Yahid. It may be they will reverence him when they see him. But when the husband saw him, they reasoned among themselves, saying, This is the heir. The heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. What therefore shall the Adonai of the vineyard do unto them? He shall come and destroy these husbandmen, and shall give the vineyard to others. And when they heard it, they said, Far be it. And he beheld them and said, Where is this then that is written? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. The chief priest and the scribes the same hour sought to lay hands on him, and they feared the people. For they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. And they watched him, and sent forth spies, which should refrain themselves just men, that they might take hold of his words, that so they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. And they asked him, saying, Rabbi, we know that you say and teach rightly, neither accept you any thy person of any, not a respecter of person, but teach the way of Elohim truly. Is it lawful for us to give tribute unto Caesar, or not? But he perceived their craftiness, and said unto them, Why tempt you me? Show me a penny, whose image and subscription has it. They answered and said, Caesar's. And he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things that are to be Caesar's, and unto Elohim the things which are to be Elohim. And they could not take hold of his words before the people, and they marveled at his answer, and held their peace. Then came to him certain of the Sodom, which that there is any resurrection, they didn't believe in, although the Sadducees. And they asked him, saying, Rabbi, Moshe wrote unto us, any man's brother die, having a woman, and he die without children, that his brother should take his woman, and raise up seed unto his brother. There were 7 brethren, and the first took a woman, and died without children. And the second took her to be his wife, and he died childless. And the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also, and they left no children, and died. Last of all the woman died also. Therefore, in the resurrection of them, whose woman is she? For 7 had her as his woman. And Yahushua answering said unto him, The children of this world marry and are given in marriage, but they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry nor are given in marriage, neither can they die any more, for they are equal unto the angels, and are children of Elohim, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, when Moshe showed at the thorn bush, when he called Yahuwah the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Yaakov. For he is not an Elohim of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him. Then certain of the scribes answering said, Rabbi, you have well said. And after that they dared not ask him any questions of all. And he said unto them, How say they that the Mashiach is David's son? And David himself said in the Sefer of the Tehillim, Yahuwah said unto my Adonai, Sit on my right hand, till I make your enemies your footstool. David therefore calls him Adonai. How is he then his son? Then in the audience all the people he said unto his Talmud, Beware of the scribes, which desire to walk in long robes, and love greetings in the markets, and the highest seats in the synagogues, and the chief rooms at feast, which devour widows' houses, and for show make long prayers, the same shall receive greater damnation. Okay, we'll stop there, because there's a lot there. Okay. My only comment would be, well, one comment is that it shows you what Yusha did to his enemies that were trying to trick him and try to get him to speak. And he asked a question to them. So we are to be wise like him. He's our counselor, and be careful what we say when people are wanting to even debate Yah's word. Ask a question. That's an example here, a very good example of him. And look at the craftiness there. So deceitful, and they're saying so lovely words and flowery words to him, beautiful words saying how great he was of Rabbi, a teacher, you rightly teach, and the way. So they're really putting him up, but he saw through it. Any other questions? Anybody would like to speak? Please comment and unmute yourself. Thank you. And the chief priest did understand that he was talking about them, the parable, so they hated him even more. Interesting. Okay, nobody's commenting. Okay, I'll finish with chapter 21 of Lucas. And he looked up, that's verse 3 of chapter 21, and he looked up and saw the rich man casting their gifts into the treasury. And he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. And he said, of truth I say unto you, that this poor woman has cast in more than all of them. For all these have their abundance have cast in unto the offering of Elohim, but she of her penury has cast in all her living that she had. And as some spoke of the temple, how it was adorned and goodly stones and gifts, he said, as for you these things which you behold, the days will come in the which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And they asked him, saying, Rabbi, but when these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, take heed that you be not deceived. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, which means the anointed one. I'm anointed prophets, I'm anointed past. And the time draws near. Go you, not therefore, after them. But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet by and by. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, famines and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues, and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it, therefore, in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And you shall be betrayed both by parents, brethren, kinsfolk, friends, and some of you shall they cause to be put to death, and you shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not a hair of your head perish. In your patience possess you your souls. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that desolation therefore is nigh. Then let them which are in Yahud, flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the other nations, until the times of the other nations be fulfilled. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Adam coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. And he spoke to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees, when they now shoot forth. You see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise you, when you see these things come to pass, know you that the kingdom of Elohim is nigh at hand. Amen, I say unto you, this nation shall not pass away till all be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all of them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch you therefore, pray always, that you may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Adam. And in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives. And all the people came early in the morning to him in the temple for to hear him. Comments, please. Unmute yourself and comment.
What a glorious day.
Heather said, what a glorious day.
Won't it be beautiful seeing all that? We won't be frightened, but others will probably die of fright.
It's not for us to fear. I like the last part. We pray always that we are accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Adam. Because the worthiness is in Corinthians talking about unleavened bread and the Passover. Those that are unworthy can cause a curse on themselves if they don't take the supper and the Passover in its context and in a loving way, and understanding it, that it's his righteousness that makes us righteous, and they're humble. This is his righteousness makes us worthy. And it's nice that you may be counted worthy. That means his righteousness is upon us. And it's so important at this time, because the 7 days represents the unleavened bread that's his righteousness. It's his word, it's his righteousness that's on us. His kingdom and his righteousness we seek first. And that we will be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Adam. So that is quite important, that last part. I like that. Like when you look at Mashiach means you're anointed, and you know how it says it in the Bible in verse 5. In most Bibles it says I am the Christ, and that when I first read that many years ago, I used to think, oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of saying that they are the Christ. No, it means Christos, which is Christ, the Mashiach means the anointed one. They're saying I'm anointed prophet, I'm anointed and I've got prophecies, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. That's what that's saying. Many will say, I am anointed and the time draws near. So that is the Greek word for that, okay, anointing. So, and that's what we have. We have all these false teachers in the real world. They say they're the anointed. Anything else there that I love the widow too. He pointed out that all the money that they were giving, but she gave all. He saw her heart. Beautiful. Okay, I would like some comments and some pleas from others on that. Thank you. Can think about it. Consider it. Okay, Eddie, thank you.
I don't really have a comment. I just want to say great job. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Great session. I really appreciate it. It's 11:30 p.m. here, so I'm getting kind of tired. I'm going to have to check out, but I really appreciate you guys allowing me to join in. It really means a lot to me, especially today, more than any other time. I've only been a part of the Sefer and the Ewald stuff for about a year and a half, so I'm really just a baby with this stuff. Okay, so if I really appreciate it anyway, especially now. Thank you very much, all of you, and great
Eddie,
job.
it's
Yeah.
a pleasure to have you here. Thank
Shalom,
you.
Eddie.
Yep.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, Eddie.
Have a good sleep. I will record this. Any more comments so you can see the end of it if you want. So I'll record it, and I've recorded it. I'll put it on YouTube on the Australia Sefer.
I don't have access to the Australian Sefer, I don't think.
Oh, well, I might put
So
it on the other two. Do you think there's enough information here for them? I can send it. I can put it on the EWAL one, and I can put it on the radio. And you are on the radio, aren't you? Alaska chat, Eddie, I think. Are you? What are
yep,
you? You are on the
yeah,
Alaska chat. Okay, I'll put it on there. Okay. I'll put it on
sure.
there too.
Sound,
Okay, if you might
sounds
like to listen to the end or you might like to go over it, it's up to you. But I
yeah.
think that we went through quite a bit today. We covered a lot. And I think that others may be edified with it. As long as we're, all this has been edifying and uplifting, that's what we are to do, to edify one another. And look at
Eddie,
what
what
God did.
country are you in?
Canada.
I'm in Canada. I'm
Canada.
in
Canada. Oh,
Newfoundland, yeah, most easterly point in North America. Yeah, so next stop England, but it's you're about 12 and a half hours, I think, ahead of me, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Well,
morning there, it's evening here. Yeah.
yeah, I thank you for even coming at that time of night. I
Oh
thank you
no,
so
no,
much.
it started at 8:30 p.m. my time, which is not a bad time. I usually start to look at the bed around 11. So.
Okay, that's great.
But
I know.
I do appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you. You have a good night's sleep, okay?
Shabbat shalom,
Thank you.
everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Thank you.
shalom.
Thank you so much.
but
Okay. Oh, what am I doing? I'll stop sharing for a moment. Okay. Yep. Okay, we're back. Okay, there's Heather. Hello. Okay, Heather. So, thank you for commenting, Heather. They were really
You're
good
welcome.
comments. Okay.
You.
Because you haven't been commenting much, and I've noticed
no.
you're coming out of yourself
I
a
like
lot
to
more.
stay quiet,
Yes,
invisible.
but I really seen you coming out a lot. That's really good. It's
Good
good.
girl.
Good. Yes, it is good. Let me get this.
I get nurtured here so
Good
much.
teacher.
Oh,
Absolutely sober-upped.
would you believe I never wanted to be to teach or do anything like that? Well, I do have that scripture that says that you're going to be judged more. But I kind of been thrown into things at times. Yeah, Dr. Pigeon actually threw me into the Portugal one, Passover. He told me to get up and talk about the washing. He put me on the spot to explain the washing of the feet and the washing in Portugal. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of been put there anyway. So it would not have been my desire to do it, but anyway, I'm starting to getting a bit more relaxed to it and just saying, well, I'm considering this. That may not be right. If it's not right, correct me, please. Okay, because we all really are still learning, and we're going through a learning process still, and that's what you've got, the 50 days of the 7 days of the unleavened bread, and then you've got up to Shavuot. So it's really good. It's wonderful. Yes. So what else would we like to do now? Any prayer requests or that? Did you want to talk about the Exodus? I'd have to go through my notes again, but maybe it's a bit long now. But maybe another time on in Unleavened.
Definitely.
In Unleavened,
Definitely.
I'll go over my notes, and we can do a Sabbath service in the middle of unleavened bread. Or don't forget, Dr. Pigeon's doing things, and thankfully we've got in Portugal when he did the Passover, the unleavened bread when I was there, the volume and all the speakers and everything was in there, and it wasn't connected or not connected right. Dallas had problems with it all there, but now they're setting it up in the chapel, which is a Brooker, and really the volume is a lot better. But last time, Christine is very good from Germany. I met her at Sukkot 2 years ago in UK with Dr. Pigeon, and she's a really great teacher. She's got a 26-minute one on, but I did send over to Jessica to say that we can't see the whiteboard on the video. We couldn't see all the Paleo Hebrew, that she's very fluent in Hebrew and Paleo and other Hebrew, and a very good teacher, a brilliant teacher actually. Makes things simpler because I'm not the best with languages, so I find that I can understand her more. But anyway, that hopefully will be corrected, because that there with the site was good, the Passover and the first day of unleavened bread, because Dr. Pigeon is actually facing there. But when there was the slideshow on the white, it wasn't a whiteboard, but it's the white projector projecting, it actually, we could not see it. So I did actually send it over, Jessica, to tell her that we can't see it on the YouTube. They can see it probably, but we can't. So I hope that's corrected for anything else. But I'll tell you what, the volume's a lot better than it was, and the acoustics are a lot better now. But Portugal, it was pretty poor, and Robin was saying she couldn't hear hardly any of the Passover last year at all. And Heather, it was very distorted, and the music and that, it was not really usable. So they've done a lot this year, so that's good. Okay, so you'll be
The
listening
problem is we've got hearing aids, but we don't want Bluetooth in our head.
Yes.
That's true, but last year I did, because I was there, I could hear it all okay. I heard it all, though, but when I did look at the video, I could see the music was distorted too. It wasn't very good at all. You couldn't, it was horrible actually. It was very squeaky, and it didn't even sound nice. So the recording of, it's a pity because my daughter actually was an engineer in Australia. She was the first Australian to do I can't think of it now. She used to, in the not conservatory in the Mirroring, but the Brisbane. Oh, what's it called now? The big place there. She used to do the hearing of all here for the ears, and that for them to do, and she even did ABC too, the hearing too. So she understands a lot. But that was about, she's 49 now, but she did that in her 20s, and but they did not have the equipment there, that because I asked her to help, because she did come over to Portugal Passover, but not there all the time. She was there for a week, 7 days. She had to get back to UK, but she is a sound engineer. That's what I meant. And she was at the Brisbane. Oh, what's that main one in the Brisbane now? I can't remember. It's not the conservatorium. She went to the conservatorium, but it's the biggest place that they do music and they do shows and that. But she worked there. She was the first woman to do it in Australia. This is ground sound, but she doesn't do that now. She's music and she teaches. She's a teacher, but she could have, if she had the equipment, got that right. But anyway, but she said to me, "My brother, I'd have to remember everything." She would, but still, that's happened. I don't want to over talk too much now. So we will do a prayer. Who would like to do a prayer to close this? Okay.
I can if you like.
I was just about to ask you, Anthony. There you go. So thank
Okay.
you. Okay, talk here, and I'm going to, what am I going to do here? Anthony, I want you out. There you are. You're up. Thank you.
Baruch atah Yahweh Eloah. Abba, we come before you with our heads bowed and our knees bent. We praise your name, Yahweh. We praise your feasts. We thank you that we can give praise to your feasts and honor them as you wish us to do. Abba, I pray that there's many people in the world who are suffering at the moment through war, famine, and disease. I ask that you help all of those who know your name who seek you and Mashiach in their heart. May you come before them and lift them up and give them the chance that they may also receive Yeshua. Abba, I thank you so much for this gathering. I thank you for your Shabbat. I thank you for Carol, who teaches us all so well. I thank you for Brother Stephen and for Jessica and for everybody involved in the Sefer group. I praise your name. I ask you for your mercy. In Yahushua's name, Amen, Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you for all of you coming. And it's all important to edify and uplift us in Yeshua HaMashiach. And it's very important, especially in this time of trouble all around the world. But as he says, all this trouble around the world, he says, don't let it affect you. Don't be troubled. Okay. So
Difficult.
I agree completely.
It's difficult not to be troubled.
I'm continually the thoughts come in my mind that don't over focus on that. Don't over focus. Keep seeking His kingdom and His righteousness. You focus on that, but it's not easy when it's affecting our petrol. And we were running around getting extra petrol and everything a week ago, didn't we? So getting extra things in. Okay. I'm going to say shalom, goodbye, and not goodbye, but I will consider putting another sefer on in unleavened bread. You hopefully, if you all agree, and I'll go over it. Okay. Okay.
Can I just say before we go a message to Robin?
Yes, she's darling.
You'll know what I mean. I thank you so much, and I haven't had a chance to get to the post office, but I promise you that I will get there. So.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, will bless you.
He will.
I'll get there. It's just work. Just the times of the post office and work just make it hard to get there, but I will get there.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yes, yeah. All I can say is look after yourself.
I will, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, and
Baruch everything that you have.
Yeah.
And before you take anything and have it, just Baruch it and say, yeah, you'll Baruch it. And you'll take anything out of it that's not right, even if we are told that it's pure and everything. we trust in that, but we trust in Yah more because he can correct everything.
Absolutely.
Yah's pharmacy.
It's his. He's our healer. He's our healer. Thank you everybody for attending, and I really appreciate your comments. I really love the sharpness of all your minds, of Judith, Robin, Heather, Janie, Anthony, and even he just left. He's
Eddie.
Eddie. He's probably tired. They're getting tired now, but he's good too. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you.
Shalom.
Thank you very much.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Bye.
Shalom.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Love that laugh. That was nice. Lovely laugh.